drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is you over 30 years ago.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
And this is your mom when you drive her back from therapy.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Roles change without us noticing, and in your new role, we help you help. AARP gives you the information to help care for your mom so that you can have patience with her, just like she did with you. Visit aarp.org/caregiving or call 1-877-333-5885 to get practical health and wellness tips to provide even better care for your loved one.
Are we there yet?
Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP, we help you help. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Do current market conditions have you nervous? Our experienced team of financial professionals at Heritage Harbor Financial Associates understands that no two investors are alike. We all have different goals, needs, and appetites for risk. That's why the one-size-fits-all approach does not work, especially when planning for retirement. At Heritage Harbor Financial Associates, we analyze your unique investment style so that you can work toward your individual retirement goals on your terms. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates can help you take steps to reach your retirement goals by providing a wide array of financial products to fit your needs, even for the risk adverse. Give us a call at 631-331-6599 to learn more or to set up an appointment with one of our financial professionals. You can also find us on the web at hhfa.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/hhfa.org. Our number again is 631-331-6599. That's 631-331-6599. Investments in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds and variable annuities are not FDIC insured and are subject to fluctuation in value and market risk, including loss of principal. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates offers securities through AXA Advisors LLC, New York, New York. Member FINRA, SIPC. Annuity and insurance products offered through AXA Network LLC.
Be fearless at MMA Long Island and Seituha Karate. Located at 28 Colt Court in Ronkonkoma, MMA Long Island is the martial arts school for you if you want to learn combat-proven techniques, build confidence, discipline, and self-esteem while learning real martial arts to fight back against bullies, predators, and peer pressure. MMA Long Island offers group and private lessons for all ages and levels in traditional Goju-Ryu Karate, MMA, and self-defense. MMA Long Island is one of Long Island's most affordable martial arts schools. There are no promotion, belt, or membership fees, and family discounts are available. All classes are taught by 7th degree black belt Sensei John Benedict with over 30 years teaching experience. So whether you want to get in the ring or protect yourself and your family, MMA Long Island can help you reach your goals. Visit MMALongIsland.com. That's MMALongIsland.com or call or text 516-381-9660. That's 516-381-9660.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit him online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi, I'd like to report a bear hug.
Uh-huh, okay.
Well, we were building a bonfire, and I saw some, dry brush and leaves around, so, I said to move the bonfire somewhere else, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear shows up and hugs me.
So you noticed some wildfire hazards and moved your bonfire to a safer location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Smokey, all right. He likes it when people help prevent wildfires. It hits him close to home. Not everybody gets the hug, my friend. So that's pretty special to get a hug from Smokey Bear.
So it was him. Hey, guys, I told you it was Smokey.
Okay, well, congratulations, my friend. And thanks for calling. There are many ways to prevent a wildfire. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. Waking up every day, lifting him from the bed to the wheelchair to the car to get him to therapy on time, it's no small task between the doctors and the diagnosis, but nothing can disable this love. This is my big brother, my hero. He's part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. See, there's no time for tired. This starts again tomorrow. He'll be waiting for me. I wake up for him. I know he needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community, or call 877-333-5885. Caregiving Resource Center. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
and saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do. Tell the world I see with an emoji to stop the bullies.
Know someone who's being bullied online? Send the witness emoji. It looks like an eye in a speech bubble, and it's in the symbol section near the clocks in your phone. You'll let the world know it isn't cool, and you'll let your friend know you care. Learn more about the witness emoji at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape?
You mean the one in my mouth?
You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel? Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
What are you talking about?
No, it's not him. There's only one more. There is only one more. That's it. One more. No!
They saw your team put up zero effort.
Wake up!
Remember in the old days they used to have oxygen for them. Where's the oxygen?
Play like absolute just garbage.
This is the Sports Loudmouths.
Yay!
Man, can you keep it down? I'm trying to introduce here. With Errol Marks, Speedy Petey, and Josh Silverberg.
You're not even a has-been. You're a never was. You're a never was. You're a never was. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Sports Loudmouths. I'm your host, Errol Marks, my co-host, Speedy Petey, and Little J Joshua Silverberg. Remember, you can listen to our show every single Wednesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. only on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. You can call us at 631-965-4990 is the number. You can go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. I have some new stuff that I'll be adding to the website this week, so stay tuned for that. And remember, guys, you can go to iOS and download our app by going to WWSRN or Android Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We do have a special guest coming into the studios. As everybody knows, Tyler Harrison will be joining us at some point tonight. Of course, he's late. It's known for the Tyler Man to be late at his show. So Tyler will be into studio with us. It will be very interesting on his takes, on his thoughts, or whatever we're going to argue about, which is always interesting when Tyler is on the show.
Yeah.
By the way, how are you, Josh? I know you have had a busy week. You started your camp job, so a lot of interesting things, and you're bright red, man. It seems like the sun is burning.
I tell you what, I'm getting my vitamin D. That's for damn sure. I'm tired, dude. I'm exhausted. When you're outside from 8:30 till 12 o'clock. You get a 45-minute break, and then you go back out there from 1 to 4 o'clock afterwards. It's especially when there's no shade. It sucks, but you know what? I enjoy it. I love doing it. It's just, especially now, it's just very hot. Then tomorrow it's going to be pouring. It's supposed to actually start thunderstorming here.
You're going to have camp tomorrow?
We are. We're going to be, yep.
Isn't it outside camp? What would you be doing inside?
We have inside areas too. We have like gyms and stuff inside.
You're going to have gyms for a bunch of kids?
No, we have multiple rooms. We have multiple different rooms, multi-purpose rooms, gyms.
Ooh, multi-purpose rooms.
Yeah, so we have
Interesting.
all that stuff. I mean,
better keep those kids in check, if you know what I mean.
well, listen, let me tell you something. They might send them to karate every now and then, let them get drop kicked. But I don't actually. I probably shouldn't have said that on the air just now. I'm hoping nobody's listening. But
don't be giving them your feed then.
Oh my God, no! But you know what? Though I love it. It's just especially now, it's so draining. Like even you guys know it. I'm usually in the feed by like 8:15.
Right.
8:10, and then tonight I had a meeting. I didn't get on the feed with you guys till like 8:51.
Right.
I mean that never happens, and you guys know that. So it was just very. I was
wondering. I was like, Speedy, where the hell is John?
I know it was. I didn't forget.
I even double checked. I sent the right email, and
I didn't forget. And we're gonna get a thunderstorm soon. I'm God hoping I don't lose.
A thunderstorm is gonna stop you from coming on a show.
Oh no! I'm hoping I just don't lose power. That's what I'm hoping. I don't lose power.
Oh man. Anyways, we have a great show lined up for you. As you guys know, we'll have Tyler Harrison in the studios arguing his points. I'm sure I'm going to hear his take about Aaron Boone. Okay, it's definitely going to be interesting. It's definitely going to piss me off. So get ready for that. As you know, Jeff was haunting my dreams all weekend long, telling me, oh, it was a bad weekend for New York sports. The Islanders get eliminated, and then obviously the New York Yankees debacle against the Boston Red Sox. So we'll get into that.
He's already had it in the comments section.
Yeah,
too.
I'm sure he's going to. And I have my thoughts with the whole Islanders, and give me a second, and I'll give you my answers to the whole series. But nevertheless, there's no excuses that Tampa Bay Lightning are going to the Stanley Cup, actually in the Stanley Cup, and they're up 1-0 against the Montreal Canadiens. This is going to be an easy series for Tampa Bay. I've been saying this over and over again. The only team that could have beaten Tampa in the playoffs is the Islanders. And as soon as that series was over, it was pretty much Tampa's going to hoist the cup. But we'll get into that in just 1 second. We will get into basketball. These Dame Lillard rumors are just absolutely outrageous. Okay,
we're going to trade the entire Knick team.
It doesn't make any sense. If this is true and these trade talks are real, I'm not trading my team away from.
By the way, Carl, I didn't say these rumors.
No,
nothing to do with my sources.
Thank God, and I'm sure.
My rumors would have said Obi Toppin, Daniel quickly 6 first-round trade picks, even though you can't trade 3 years in a row.
Game time.
RJ Barrett.
By the way, Carl always tells me, say it, Dame time. Dame time, okay?
If Damian Lillard becomes a Knick, he'll get it right. Carl.
Yes,
don't
absolutely.
Damian Lillard becomes a Knick. I'm the first one online shopping getting a jersey.
I'm sure you would be, but what the trade talks and what they're talking about is just absolutely despicable. But we'll get into that a little bit later. We'll get into the LA Clippers. Unbelievable game yesterday by Paul. Not yesterday, the day before from Paul George. Tonight's going to be tonight, right? It's going to be.
They're about to start in a few minutes, I think, or they might have started already.
The Clippers need this game, obviously. If they don't, they're pretty much done. They are done. So, I mean, Paul George is going to have to put on another display to win this series or somehow pull it out of his ass. But we'll get into a little. And by the way, being that the Hawks lost their best player, and you know I'm talking about Trae Young in Game 4, you would expect it would be an easy game for the Bucks. Well, they lost the Greek Freak early in the game in the first period.
Series sucks now.
And now it seems like it's going to be the Hawks going to the NBA championship. Who would have thought that? But it seems like that's the way it's going to go. So we'll get into that a little bit later as well. We will get into some baseball. The Yankees playing like garbage. And if you listen to Brian Cashman the other day after getting an interview, he says we stink. So are the Yankees sellers for the first time at the trade deadline to rebuild this offseason for the Yankees? And do they make some moves of free agency, which I believe the Yankees will, and I think Aaron Boone will be gone. And I'm sure Tyler has his own thoughts to that. So
I've been wanting him gone for the last 3 years. That's what he'll say.
I mean, that literally goes back. That take goes back to when I started on the Worldwide.
Oh no, it was the year before too. At the end.
Oh God, I remember that whole.
Yeah, I can't wait.
That first episode he and I did. It was literally an hour of straight him just screaming on a microphone about Aaron Boone and how much he sucks. Man. And Errol couldn't even
first year. Gosh.
Well, Errol couldn't even defend himself because he was at he was at the Super Bowl, so Errol couldn't even defend his point.
By the way, it's not always the manager's fault that the players aren't hitting. Okay, you can't blame Aaron Boone for that. But
don't worry, the Mets suck too right now. So
we will get into the Mets and how bad they've been playing the last couple of days. But I think the Mets will be fine. I think they're not sellers. They're going to be buyers.
No, they'll be buyers. I just don't have any faith in these guys hitting right now. But yeah.
We will get into that a little bit later. We will also get into the Conor McGregor situation. His fight's coming up for the first time in almost, I would say, a year. It's been, I think, 8 or 9 months since he lost against Poirier and getting knocked out. We'll get into my thoughts on what Conor needs to do to display himself to win that fight and maybe put him back on that pole as the UFC fighter that the UFC is going to start building on and trying to get their product back intact. So we'll get into a little bit of that as well. We will also get into what else were we going to talk
Trevor
about?
Bauer.
Moses too.
Oh yes, we'll talk about the Jets and Morgan Moses.
Talk about Trevor Bauer as well. That stuff that came out today about the sexual assault stuff.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I think obviously.
I mean, he said it was consent. They had rough sex.
I'm sure.
What? I've never heard that response to something like that.
By the way,
it was consent. We just had very rough sex.
And by the way, Carl says, no McGregor. You said you were done talking about it, but it's some interesting takes on Conor McGregor. So there were some things that I heard. I have some insiders that have spoken a little bit on their radio show about Conor McGregor. So I definitely want to get in on that conversation.
Now the real question: has Trae Young become so hateable that he surpassed Conor McGregor on his number one on your most hated athletes list?
No, I think he's there. I think he's definitely there. So we'll get into the whole Conor McGregor situation. So we have a lot to talk about, and our show is usually 2 hours on Wednesday, but it always drags on. I don't know. Do we have Mark coming on today?
He hasn't responded yet, but we'll see. We could potentially.
He'll probably be on tomorrow. Probably.
I think he's usually on Thursdays with us.
Yeah, but I was thinking about throwing him in because I didn't know if Tyler was actually going to show up. But
that we also have John Nagel tomorrow as well at 9:30. So
yes, we have a very good guest tomorrow. I'm sure you guys are going to like it. He knows a lot about his football. He's a great analyst and analytic guy. We're going to have him on. We had him on a year ago. He was great. Very big. I think he works for Yahoo, right?
He was NBC Sports Roto World at the time. Now it's NBC Sports Edge.
Okay.
I'm actually really quick with you guys. I'm actually working on getting a guest for the next week or so. I'm actually in the process. I reached out and he got back to me. We're just trying to figure out a date, and that's for Bobby Valentine.
Oh,
on our show. Yeah, Bobby Valentine.
Bobby V.
So he obviously been with the Mets, with the Red Sox.
We'll talk about his restaurant.
Rangers. Speedy, you know this. You're from Connecticut. His campaign that's going on right now in Connecticut. I mean, he's huge over there in the state of Connecticut right now.
Governor or mayor?
Something I don't even remember what it was. He's doing one of those things, but he's had a very interesting baseball career. I mean, he was a god in Japan. I mean, when he won the Japanese World Series over there, I mean, he was, with I believe the Shibu Lions he won it with. So, I mean, but I think Bobby V would be the way his character is and the interesting stories that he has.
For Met fans, he'd be big. I mean, I'm interested to hear what he had to say with the Mets. I've heard some of his stories when he was over there with the Mets, and one of the most famous Met managers we can talk about in the past. Met fans loved him. I mean, he had and by the way, Carl says Bobby V, the master of disguise, which he was.
Damn right he was. You got to ask him that question. And he got away with it too. He got fined for it, but he got away. He didn't get thrown. Nobody noticed him when he was dressed like that. I mean, I'm sure the players knew. They just were trying to pretend he wasn't there.
Yeah, well, I'd love to know.
We'll let Carl ask that question.
I'd love to know about his whole Boston Red Sox smoke career. So I would like to hear what he thought about the Boston Red Sox and the organization when he decided to part ways with them. So I'm sure it's very interesting, and I'm very interested in hearing his thoughts to that. But first things first, I want to get into the New York Islanders and Tampa Bay Lightning series. And I'm not trying to hide anything. The Tampa Bay Lightning were the better team, but I thought that whoever won that series was probably going to win the Stanley Cup. I don't think Montreal had a chance, especially somehow knocking off the Las Vegas Knights. I didn't think they had any chance against the Vegas Knights. They had a great run all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. I think their run is over. What bothers me about the Tampa Bay Lightning winning that series, not the fact that they weren't the better team. They were the better team. And I'm not going to say that the Islanders didn't get a lot of calls going their way. But even when game number 7 came out and the only goal was in the game, the shorthanded goal. And now everybody's going to say, Lyle's going to say, well, it didn't have anything to do with the goal. When the Islanders are on a power play, why is it that the Tampa Bay Lightning had 5 guys on the ice? Okay? This has been the problem this whole series. There were 3 goals in this series that all 3 games the Islanders lost because of too many men on the ice. Now, I don't want to hear it from the NHL that, hey, you know what? It had nothing to do with the play. We didn't see it. Why is it that the Lightning got away with it all series long? And if the Islanders did anything stupid like that, hey, you know what? The Islanders probably would have had a penalty and would have cost them a goal. Now, that is not the reason why the Islanders lost the series, okay? And I'm not making that excuse. But here, this is a problem that the NHL needs to figure out. If that is the case and there are too many men on the ice, you should be able to challenge a goal. You should be able to go to the referees. You have 1 challenge a game or 2 challenges a game, whatever they do. I don't know how it goes with the new rules with the NHL. There has to be something that you can challenge and argue any goal in a game. And if you're right, you get another call. You get another chance to argue another, like the NFL. Well, it was like the NFL. I don't know if that rule still stands.
When the NFL became more expansive, what you could review.
I don't know if it stands. But nevertheless, I think when you look at the big picture and you look at the situation, the Islanders lost the series. Now, here's another thing that I'm complaining about with this series and throughout the playoffs. And Jeff said it best, okay? And I'm giving Jeff a compliment. The Tampa Bay Lightning, for the last 2 seasons, have cheated, okay? The fact is, they sit players for the whole season when they know it's a salary cap, salary cap league. They sit them out, and they know that the playoffs, there is no salary cap. And then you have Stamkos and all these Kucherov. You have all these guys come in the playoffs and help you win. And to me, it's a complete, utter turnoff. Because how come the NHL hasn't figured this out? The NFL figured it out in the 90s when the Broncos did it, and they actually put a hold on it. Why is it that after the NHL and last year's Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning did it, they didn't figure this out, and Gary Bettman didn't step in and say, you know what, you can't do this anymore. Now this is going to be 2 years that the Tampa Bay Lightning has done it and got away with it. And they're going to win 2 Stanley Cups. Now tell me, guys, do you think that's fair?
Not in the terms of the loophole of the rule, because the way the salary cap is supposed to be structured, it's supposed to represent your roster, the majority of the roster. And in the case of hockey, even the healthy scratches are technically part of the roster. Now, the way the Lightning did it right now, they're right now exploiting a loophole. It doesn't mean the loophole is necessarily a good rule, though. Like you were mentioning with the Broncos did it. One of their Super Bowl teams where they were over the salary cap by, I think, $1.5 million or something like that. And they were able to.
By the way, I'm going to run and get Tyler. I'm going to bring him on. So you guys take over this segment.
Yes. So the way the Broncos did it in that time, they exploited the loophole where they were over by $500,000, and I think it was their first Super Bowl team. They still were able to cut players, and I think shed it for their second Super Bowl team, but that doesn't make the rule good. Now, in the case of the Lightning, in terms of this year, obviously they're right now exploiting a loophole. So are they deliberately cheating this year? Technically not, but in terms of that rule, it is a dumb rule. Like Errol was saying, I'm surprised that the NHL hasn't tracked down on it more. To the comment section before you go, Josh. Jeff says, "OMG, what a ridiculous complaint! So dumb." Carl says that could work if soccer uses it, then the NHL could use it. Again, that doesn't make it necessarily right, Carl. And we've seen a lot of issues with a lot of different soccer teams across the world have more money than others and be able to just purge, just to be able to hoard players like that. Brett Goldstein in the comment section says Todd Brand. I guess he's trying to tag somebody. Jeff says they're just exploiting a loophole. The Isles could have done it too. And Snug says if it's this well known of a strategy, if you can't beat them, join them. If the Islanders aren't exploring enough to use the utilize the loophole, then boo hoo. And then Carl says, no, I was talking about hockey or replay. Josh, go ahead.
Well, when I look at the situation is I understand where Errol's coming from, but at the same point, when you look at the salary cap rules, the Islanders were actually also, they were $8 million over the salary cap as well this year. So they kind of, now look, it was different because Anders Lee was hurt. They put him on injury reserve and they got Paul Mary and Zajac, but they were still, when you technically looked at it, they were $8 million over the salary cap. I mean, look, they took them to 7 games. When you have 18 shots on goal, that's really not going to get the job done. I understand the talent and the perspective that that the Lightning have is unbelievable. I mean, you could do this. Maybe somebody has to, at the same time, possibly, maybe they got to play a certain number of games for them to join the playoff roster rather than have them be on IR for the entire season. Like I said, it's not technically cheating. Hi, Tyler. It's not technically cheating. It's because look, I understand there's rules, but they didn't technically break a rule. And like I said, the Islanders were $8 million over the salary cap as well. So both teams did. Now the Lightning did to a certain perspective, but there used to be a thing in baseball. I think you had to play a certain number of games to join the playoff roster. And I think that's something that I think the NHL has to adapt. You need to play a certain number of games to be on the roster. But hey, listen, they technically, I understand, they found, like Speed said, they found a loophole. They took advantage of it. Good for them. I hope otherwise.
So wait a second. You're saying that it's okay for them to do what they have been doing for the last 2 years, which obviously a lot of teams should step in and argue about.
I agree with you 100%. I'm with you 100%.
Why isn't Gary Bettman stepping in? This is a guy. Now, I give Gary Bettman a lot of credit, especially last year how he did the round robin. I didn't like how the NBA did it. I definitely didn't like how the NBA did it, but I like what Gary Bettman did. I like what he did. I like how he pushed forward with this round robin, how they slowly eased into the players in this the 3-game playoff round robin where they got into the playoffs.
By the way,
and I think it worked. I think the NHL did the right thing, and I think Gary Bettman looked like it. They looked really, really good. I think Gary Bettman looked really, really good, and the fans shouldn't be booing him. But
really quick, I know we want to have Tyler's intake and point and everything like that, but I will say this, and I was saying it before. I don't know, you weren't here, but the Islanders were also, if you look at the salary cap, they were $8 million also over the salary cap. But when you look at it in the perspective of Game 7, look, you had 18 shots on goal. That's not going to get it done. It's not. This is like when they played Washington a couple of years ago, right? And they had 10 shots on goal in that Game 7. You have to be able to get in front of the net. They didn't do it. They had the post by Beauvillier. He had the breakaway too. Vasilevsky made a great save. They had their chances, the Islanders, in this game. Barzal, the puck went over his stick. It happens. Listen, was it a bad call that the referees missed too many men on the ice? Sure it was, but the game happens like that. Blink of an eye. It happens so fast. Things like that usually don't happen. They're usually not caught in time. And it is to lose, I think, on a shorthanded goal, I think makes it an even worse part. Let me say this, I felt bad that they lost that way, especially on a shorthanded goal, because they played their ass off that whole series. They did, but they took them to Game 7. They had 18 shots on goal.
So what?
How many shots? 31, 32?
It didn't get it done. And the game-winning goal, which was a shorthanded goal with too many minutes, I understand, but that's an excuse that the NHL they've made that through the series. How many times? There was 3 times that the Lightning scored with too many men in the ice, and the referees completely lost.
But why only 18 shots on goal in a must-win Game 7? This is the second time in how many years that
defensive team. That still doesn't make the.
I'm just saying, but
Josh, that doesn't make the excuse for what we saw in this series.
I understand that, and I completely get that. But at the same time, when Barzal had a chance and the puck goes over his stick, when Beauvillier has a breakaway, Vasilevsky makes the save. It freaking happens. It just doesn't go your way. Listen, the Rangers in 2015 lost to the same Tampa team, got shut out in Game 5 and Game 7. This goes way back to how.
Of course, this has nothing to do with the Rangers. I'm
not saying. You see, hold on a second now, but you see, sometimes other teams come into play, so I'm just using them as an example. I'm also going to give John Cooper credit because John Cooper, I understand, and here's the reason why.
Loopholes? Yeah, that's
okay, and I'll tell you, loopholes. I'll tell you this: did he not help develop Nikita Kucherov, Alex Killorn, and those guys? Was he not a part of that staff that helped to make them better? But did he not? I mean, what was Kucherov 6 years ago? What round did Nikita Kucherov get picked in, Speedy?
But that is okay.
Second.
That's fine. You want to give John Cooper? That's fine. That has nothing to do with this series. John Cooper wasn't the reason why they won that series. He wasn't.
No, I know he wasn't the reason why I won the series, but I'm saying
the reason.
For those that insult him and say that anybody could coach this
if
team.
If the Islanders won this series, you would give a lot of credit to Barry
Of course.
Trotz.
I still give credit to Barry Trotz. Barry Trotz is the best coach in the league.
Because Barry Trotz had less talent on his team, and
absolutely.
they took him to Game 7. The Tampa Bay Lightning has more talent. They have the most talent in the NHL, and they should be where they are. Okay, so again, we're going back to this. The Islanders deserve a lot of credit because that's 2 years they've been a top 4 team in the NHL.
Exactly.
So you can't take that away from them. But it has a lot to do with coaching. I'm not going to give John Cooper any credit for what he has. He's got one of the best offensive, actually 3 of the best offensive players in the league. They have the best goalie in the NHL. And by the way, they've got the best defensemen in the NHL.
Was he not a part of helping develop those guys? Has he not made Braden Point?
I could have helped them coach. I could have coached them.
Do you think you could have expanded Braden? You could have
up their ass, and they would.
You could have expanded Braden Point's level that where he is now.
They were going to fire his ass 3 years ago. They were going to fire his ass.
Nobody knew who Braden Point was. He was a late third round pick 3 years ago. 4 years ago. Nobody knew who he was.
Thank you, Stevie Yzerman. I
didn't listen. Let me tell you something. You want listen? I praise Stevie Yzerman all the time, man. Best executive in the league, right there with Lou Lamoriello. Lou's better, of course, because he's got the Stanley Cups. But Yzerman's right there. This is his whole team.
Well, Lou
coach also has to help develop. But
again, we'll let Tyler speak for a second. But
I see him shaking his head no at me.
Congratulations to Lou Lamoriello for back-to-back GMs of the year because he deserves all the credit in the world. That Islander team, he put that Islander team in 3 years, actually 4 years of a GM. He went from the first round to the second round to back-to-back years, the Eastern Conference champions. Last year, they got eliminated in 6 games. This year, they got eliminated in the 7th game, and they lost 1-0. They're 1 game away. Maybe next year will be the year that they take that jump to the Stanley Cup Finals. But you can shake your head, and all you Islander haters, you have to look at the Islanders. They're only
Islander hate. It's not Islander hate.
Okay, so what is it? Why do you think that the
Tampa Bay's going to run the Eastern Conference until they damn well don't want to anymore? That's where we're at.
Well, the NHL needs to figure out what they need to do with this.
Stop!
This stuff.
You're also the one that wanted Golden State to break up. So yeah, I don't really.
What do you mean? I wanted them to break up?
You hated Golden State.
I still hate
Steph Curry's overrated.
Oh, here we go.
You know what's crazy?
You
know what's crazy? I haven't been here in like 18 months. I guarantee you, I can tell you all the shit he said since I've been gone. It hasn't probably changed at all.
Mm-hmm. No, but Steph Curry is not his second most hated athlete anymore. Now Trae Young has surpassed that.
Trae Young is
Trae Young
is officially has gone over him at this point.
Oh well, good. I'm glad Steph Curry's respect has been.
No, his respect is gone.
Somehow.
His respect is completely gone to zero because Trae Young, to me, I think Trae Young's a better player than Steph.
Absolutely. My God. Can we curse? Or is that gone now?
No, you can't curse.
Don't curse.
We can't?
No, you can't.
No,
but I can tell you why. I can tell you why I think Trae Young is better than Steph. But you could go on what you think about the Lightning series against the Islanders.
Real quick, I actually got to give Errol's 100% right. The Islanders outplayed Tampa Bay this whole series, and John Cooper, Josh, you're a lot smarter than that. I remember you. John Cooper is one of the worst coaches in the NHL. And
now, why is he a bad coach when helping develop players the way he has?
Stop. And you keep bringing up draft slots. I'm going to be honest with you. The NHL draft means absolutely nothing.
I agree with that.
Absolutely nothing.
Hey, wow, I agree with him about something.
There's nothing. There's absolutely – the NHL draft is literally nothing. Like, you get 1 or 2, like, definitive players that absolutely are head and shoulders above everybody else. And then after that, it's really just how your scouts develop, guys. He deserves zero credit in Nikita Kucherov. He was always fantastic. Braden Point showed glimpses early on in his career that he was going to be special, and now he's just that dude. I think Tyler Johnson's diminished since he's been there.
Oh, that's 100%. He's on the 3rd or 4th line now.
Ryan McDonough's become a freaking skeleton as to what he was with the Rangers.
Listen, he played his ass off. He was the best player on the ice in that Game 7.
Sure, because Ryan McDonough went back to being Ryan McDonough because he had to. But Vasilevsky is the best goalie in hockey because Vasilevsky was going to be the best goalie in hockey. Like, even his young reports say this kid's going to be special. So I don't give John Cooper any credit. To be honest with you, he had to leave Tampa Bay last night, or Game 7 against the Islanders, rather, and gone, oh, my God, I'm not going to get fired. Because I'll be honest with you. So, not to give too much away, but I was talking to my buddy about this, and I was like, if Tampa Bay loses Game 7, John Cooper doesn't leave the building thinking he has a job here. I would have fired him the second Game 7 was over if Tampa Bay lost.
I don't know, but I wouldn't have done that. I won a Stanley Cup last year. Can't do
They're
that.
the most talented team in the league. They should have wiped the floor with the Islanders. But the Islanders outplayed them. They out-hustled them. And Barry Trotz outcoached them.
I don't know if the Islanders
Listen, I give you that on Barry Trotz.
Besides Game 5, the Islanders outplayed them, I think, every game.
I don't think so. I think
no, they did not.
I think Tampa outplayed them. I think that in the big games, in the big points of the game, the Islanders.
I give the Islanders credit for once.
No, I don't think they. I don't think that. I think the Islanders outcoached them. I think Barry Trotz outcoached Cooper. I think he's a
without
better
question,
coach. I think he's a better coach.
That's easy. That's skating circles around.
I just think that Tampa has better talent, and in that game it showed. I mean, the speed of the Tampa Bay Lightning showed in game 7. And by the way, the Islanders didn't. They had 18 shots in the game. That when they needed to clamp on defensively, Tampa's a better all-around defensive team defensive team.
Sure.
Now, when a big game comes, and they've done this before. The Islanders never went to a Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Championship. They never did that. This is the first time they've done it. This is back-to-back years they've done the Eastern Conference Championship. But again, my argument isn't that I thought the Islanders outplayed them. My argument was that the calls, and I listen to Jeff, and Jeff pisses me off a lot with some of the stupid shit that's
still around.
Okay,
you didn't block him yet.
No, I love Jeff.
Oh no, he's all over.
I love Jeff. I love Jeff.
Oh man,
but the things that he says, the Islanders got the calls in the series. No, they did not. First of all, Tampa had more power plays in the series than the Islanders, by like 6. Okay, so the calls went the Lightning way, and when they went to the Nassau Coliseum, by the way, they had more calls for them and more play calls for them in and when it comes to the too many men on the ice. The too many men on the ice. 2 out of the 3 goals that they scored were on the Nassau Coliseum ice. So again, I thought there was more credit to the referees in that series than the Islanders or the Tampa Bay Lightning.
A little bit much.
No, I thought the referees were terrible. They were horrendous.
Right,
in that series.
but I'd say refereeing in sports right now is just atrocious.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a good sporting officiating league.
I've had it watching even in series against them with the Montreal Canadiens. The first game in that series, Montreal, they had plenty of chances to get calls in that game, and the Lightning got all the calls in game 1, and Montreal didn't. And by the way, what was the power plays to non-power plays to Montreal? I think the Tampa Bay Lightning had 5 power plays to how many? 2? I mean, again, the Lightning gets all the. And now I'm not saying that it's a conspiracy. I'm not saying it. But
you
why?
Love conspiracies.
No, I like conspiracies when I look at things the way I look at them.
Football's fixed, right?
I think, and I've said this in many Super Bowls. I think there were 3 or 4 Super Bowls that I could pick out. If you watch the games, I do believe there was fixed. It was fixed.
All right, listen.
For them,
not for
my father about it. My father completely believes. My father could talk to you about that too. He'll agree with you.
I would say
I'll just read some of the comments. Carl says the Lightning D underrated. Jeff says goal with buzzer emojis. Carl says let's go Lightning. Jeff says Isles lost because of number 21. He went too low on the Yanni Gord goal. No idea what he was doing. Snug says John Cooper is an excellent coach who has won at every level. Don't sell him short. Carl says,
you're better than that.
Keep chomping the gum on air. But here's Snug. Said like The Rock, finally, the Tyler has come back to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Yeah, I don't know why it was away for so long. You asked the guy with the hat. I don't know.
Carl
I don't know.
It's always my fault. Everybody likes to blame me, including Matty Caps. Everybody likes to blame me.
Matty Caps?
Yes.
Matty Caps has the balls to wonder why he's not here? I'll tell you why Matty Caps isn't here. Do we have time?
No.
Oh, God.
No, Carl says they did not outplay him. He also says, so new players step up and you won't give credit to the staff. Carl asks, who is this guy? Jeff says the Isles got outshot 2-1 in virtually every game, but sure, the Isles outplayed them. LOL. Tyler's definitely back. Carl says, big hit, Josh. And Jeff says, too many men. That is so weak. Be better, Errol.
First of all, and Jeff, I have a lot of respect of some of your takes when we talk about this off air, but let's be honest. 3 important goals to this series, and 2 out of the 3 were game-winning goals that cost the Islanders those games. You have to look at that. Okay. Now again, that's not why the Islanders lost the series. I'm not blaming that. I just think it's ridiculous when you go back and you look at all the play calls and the referees. When you look at how many power plays the Tampa had than the Islanders, 7 or 6, that's a significant amount in a 7-game series. That could have cost the Islanders winning this series. Remember, the Islanders lost the series in 7 games. So my argument isn't that the Tampa Bay Lightning didn't deserve that win, and they didn't deserve. They were the better team. That is not my argument. The argument is that the Islanders had a chance to win, and the Islanders lost 1-0 in a game-winning goal, which, by the way, on the Islanders power play, it was 5-on-5 hockey. Is that fair? I mean, and they didn't do anything. Oh, we didn't see it. You didn't see it 3 times in a series. What are you, blind? There's 3 guys on the ice. What are you? It just ruined everything.
Says, are you blind?
Montreal tied the game just now. So
on a power play goal.
No, by the way,
on a power play goal.
Oh no, we can't talk about that. It's too soon.
Well,
but I
power play goal
again.
Start the conspiracies.
Well,
Batman, get on the phone.
By the way, I want to give a shout out to, and we're going to get Jeff on because Jeff wants to come on, and I'm sure he's
here we go.
I'm not ready for this.
I will put Jeff on in just 1 second, but the one thing I'm going to say, and I know Jeff is going to argue this point, and I know he's going to stick his information, and he's going to look at statistics because Jeff does do that sometimes. I'm looking at the big picture here. Now, I don't think Tampa's going to lose against Montreal. I think the series is going to go 5 games the most. I don't see it going more than that. I don't think Montreal stands a chance. But in my thought to the big picture, and Jeff hung up. I'm going to put him on again. Jeff, just hold on 1 second. I'm going to put John in a second. My whole big picture and argument to this whole situation with the Islanders is that I have watched this series from top to bottom. I missed 1 game in the series. By the way, the game that they lost 8-0 was the only game I missed. Thank God I missed that game. That was a horrendous game.
Still be green.
That was a horrendous game. But nevertheless, and the Islanders deserve a lot of credit. They pushed forward, and there's one step behind, 1 step away from getting the opportunity to win a Lord Stanley Cup. We'll hope next year would be better. I don't know. I don't know where the Islanders are going. They have 2 players. One that's going to be unrestricted. The other one's going to be restricted. I think they'll sign both of them. We'll see, especially in salary hell that they have, thanks to good old Gart Snow. But that's a whole nother story. I think that when you look at the Islanders and you look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, I just think that the referees should have been fair straight down the middle. Okay, Jeff, what's going on? Jeff, are you there?
I'd say Cat's got his tongue, but I know that.
No, I'm trying to get him. Hold on 1 second. Speedy, go look at the
comments. I'm doing.
No. Go look at the level and see if it might be muted.
No, I had it on.
I'm trying to get him.
Jeff, are you there?
It's not me. Yeah, I am now. It was muted or something.
It was muted, Speedy. Thank you, Mr. Producer. What's going on, Jeff?
All right, listen. Well, first of all, welcome back, Tyler. I've missed your nonsense. So
what's going on, man?
It's good to know that you're still alive. I'm encouraged by that you haven't jumped off a bridge.
There's been some close calls, buddy.
Oh, I believe it. If I looked like you, there would be a lot more. But listen, let's be honest with this. You just I don't want to call Errol stupid, but this take is entirely too stupid. Okay, you just compared hockey with too many men on the ice to football with too many players on the field, which is retarded in and of itself, because you're allowed to switch players mid-play in hockey, which you're not allowed to do in football. So trying to compare that too many men thing is ridiculous. And if you wanted to call too many men, you could call it on every line change in hockey, every one of them. So the fact, but replay shows a guy was standing at the door at the bench. Big deal.
Now,
big deal.
Wait a second.
They were in the middle of a line change. And by the way, Killorn went into the zone 1-on-3, and I don't know who number 21 is. Josh probably knows the guy.
Jeff,
Kyle Palmieri.
Jeff, is it a penalty? Is there a penalty if there's too many men on the ice?
It depends on how far out they are, right? It depends on, because you can call, like I said, you could call too many men
Speedy,
on
find
every
the rule.
line change. Correct?
Find the rule. I'm telling you right now, NHL rules state that if it is seen that 5 minutes, if there's a power play and 5 guys are on the ice, it is a penalty.
Then you could call a penalty on every line change.
I will. That's not true. That's not true, Jeff. That's not true, Jeff. That's not true.
Every line.
So you're telling me every time a team scores, there's too many men on the ice? Come on, Jeff.
They were in the. They were.
Tyler, this is nothing new.
Change.
No, I meant on the TV. I'm used to these two bickering. I tune them out.
And then again, I'm not saying that Jeff is completely wrong, but the NHL rules state
they went. Listen, Killorn went into that zone 1-on-3, yes? And it was Gord who came off the bench that got in that play. If you want them to not score, play better defense.
Hold on one second. Hold on 1 second. You have a power play.
He has a point.
You have a power play, okay?
No pun intended, right?
Hey!
Are you done? So I could say, can I answer his question, or are you going to cut me off?
I didn't
No, not you. These two idiots. Okay?
Tyler,
what is the rule? Speedy, do you have the rule?
Yes.
Okay, what's the rule?
Rule 74-1. Players and goalkeepers may be changed at any time during the play from the player's bench, provided that the players leaving the ice shall be within 5 feet of his player's bench.
Which he was not.
And out of the play.
He was not.
And out of the play before the change is made.
They always give leeway, and you know that. So they can't.
He was 20 feet on the ice, Jeff.
Hold on. So you're wrong then. They can have more guys on the ice, can't they?
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
You can be on the ice and within 5 feet of the bench, so you can have more guys.
But he wasn't 5. He wasn't 5 feet from the bench. He wasn't.
Show me one referee with.
It was a penalty, Jeff. Jeff, come on. How many NHL shows did I watch and they were complaining about that? How many?
Killorn went into the zone 1-on-3. You don't want him to score? Play defense.
Okay, so Jeff, it is okay that it's a game-winning. That's the game-winning goal, and they're on a power play, and they have the advantage. They have the advantage. The team that's penalty killing. I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
How about you want to win? How about scoring a goal?
And you think it's that easy? You think it's that easy in a game 7? You think it's that easy?
Listen.
Against the best goalie in the NHL.
I think a fan of the team that lost should bitch about losing if you could score a goal.
Okay. So I gave you the rule, and I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna find that goal, and I'm gonna prove that he was 15 or 20 feet away from the bench. Okay.
You know they always give leeway, dude.
But not when it's not a playoff game, and it's a game 7.
No. You need to change the argument. Not when it's a team you're rooting for. They shouldn't do that.
The team I'm rooting for? Oh, so wait a second.
You're mad. You're mad.
Wait, he's an Islanders fan?
You're mad because he was outside of the 5-foot window, and now you want to cry about it.
No, I'm telling you the rules. I gave you the rules. And by the way, Lyle, please, Lyle. I'm reading what. If you think I'm not reading what you're saying on the feed, Lyle, you're the one that still thinks that Barzal is overrated. I don't care if you made a mistake. I don't care if you made a mistake on what you said and what the way you said it. And there's no way of arguing that. You used the wrong word. What is the word then? What is the word? When you tell me that a player is overrated when he's not, and then you say, well, I used the wrong word. Well, then what is the word? What is he? There's nothing to add into the overrated, because how could you compare and contrast an overrated argument? So please, give me the word that you can compile on what you can think that you can give the name to a Barzal. So tell me the word that you wanted to use, not overrated, that you wanted to use that you think Barzal is. Because to me, there is no other word. You are trying to make an excuse and hide what you said because it was retarded, okay, and dumb. Okay, and that's it. And one of the worst takes I've ever heard on any radio station.
Snug says,
"Dude, have a drink. You're lashing out."
I'm not lashing. I'm fine, man. I'm fine.
Snug says Islanders equals best puck luck of the 2021 playoffs. Carl says 8-0, too many goals on the ice. Losing 8-0 was how they lost the series.
I didn't. No, first of all, that wasn't how they lost.
8-0.
Carl.
First of all,
that's funny.
First of all, that's not the reason why they lost the series. That was one game. Okay, Carl, one game.
Also,
by the way, they had six power plays to the Islanders, 1 in that game. Oh,
I can make them red.
6, and by the way, they had 4 power play goals in that game.
Carl says losing 8-0 was how they lost the series. If they say they outplayed the Lightning, then the game they lost 8-0 was the difference.
Yep.
Snug says, so Earl watching the series kept it close, so I guess the Islanders can blame him for the series.
Lyle,
loss.
I want to get Lyle on this show. Whenever Jeff is off, I want Lyle to call the show because I want him to explain to me, okay? Because he knows so much about hockey. And he knows so much about hockey. And he's telling me that, Jeff wins this argument. Okay, now tell me why the NHL rule states that if you are more than 5 feet away from the bench, 5 feet away from the bench, that it is a penalty. Because I'm going to call it penalty because I think because you don't know what overrated is, so I'm going to call it a penalty because
pent-up frustration.
It's definitely it just pisses me off.
He also doesn't know how to pronounce the name of his last name of their team's best
Go ahead,
player.
Jeff. What are you going to say?
Maybe he just agrees with the point that if you want to argue the Islanders should win, that they need to.
I didn't say the Islanders. Hold on 1 second. If you listen to what I said, the Islanders were not the better team. Tampa was the better team. But if the Islanders are going to lose that way, well, by the way, I'm telling you that the NHL should look at that and say, you know what? You can challenge a goal with too many men on the ice. You can challenge that.
But comparing it to football is ridiculous.
I didn't. Hold on. I didn't compare it to football. I said
you did.
I said the Broncos.
You said if football can review too many men on the field, hockey should.
No, hold on. No, I didn't.
Absolutely.
No, I didn't say that.
We were comparing football.
No, I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that, Jeff.
No.
Please explain what I said.
He was comparing football with the salary cap. What you were saying about the Lightning keeping Kucherov and Stamkos.
No, I did not. I did not, Jeff.
With the Broncos.
Rewind it to the beginning.
You rewind it. You rewind it. I can't rewind it. I said.
I heard that point.
No, you're wrong.
No,
you're wrong.
You're
wrong. You're wrong, Jeff. And I'm telling you, you're wrong. Go listen to the replay of the show. I said the whole point was the salary caps issue with the NHL, that the Tampa Bay Lightning found a loophole, and that's why the NFL did it in the 90s, and they obviously, after the 1 or 2 years that the Broncos were doing it, and it helped them win a Super Bowl, they canceled it out, and they made sure they canceled it out. Why hasn't Gary Bettman done it? They knew what was going on last year.
Well, then why aren't you complaining about the Islanders as well? Josh made a good point. The Islanders are $8 million over the cap.
Okay, the Islanders were $8 million over the cap. Now, let me ask you a question.
That trade helped.
Let me ask you a question, Jeff, because we can go bring this back. The Islanders in the beginning of the season. In the beginning of the season, were the Islanders over the cap the whole season?
Nope.
Were they? Nope. Jeff, come on. Were they? Were they not?
I mean, in fairness, the Lightning weren't over the cap.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. They were $9 million over the cap.
They were under the cap because Kucherov sat all the way to the playoffs. The playoffs and those players coming back is what sent them over the cap.
Oh my God. Jeff, the Islanders were not over the cap the whole season. The Tampa Bay Lightning for the last 3 seasons.
Did Josh not say they were $8 million over the cap?
Listen,
because then they put Lee. What they did was once they put Lee on the IR, but then what happens is, I guess, with that at that point, it all just moves.
They made a trade for Zajac, Paul Mary, and they went over. Yes. That's what happened. Okay. And I know the whole situation and the salary cap and how it worked. The Tampa Bay Lightning for the last 3 seasons have been using this to their advantage. Okay. And everybody knows they're doing it. Why hasn't Gary Bettman stepped in and said, you know what? This is a crock of you know what? I'm not doing this.
But shouldn't other GMs as well take advantage of that? Like, shouldn't the guy, look, Lou Lamoriello is probably the best, not even probably, he is the best GM. Shouldn't he know at this point in his career that he should even know, like, let me take advantage of this situation as well? Like, shouldn't other GMs just do it at this point? I think you'll see it. There's going to be a lot more that do it now. 100% they will.
By the way, Lyle says they were over the cap all year. Boychuk was on the LTR. Boychuk is whatever. By the way, Boychuk is no longer an NHL player. He's not playing,
but he's still getting paid because he didn't put in retirement.
That's fine. He's not going to. That's fine. He's not playing.
Doesn't mean his money doesn't count.
That's if you want to count a player that's never going to play again, and the Islanders can't get him because he's not going to retire. Fine, you want to put that on. What is it? Kucherov. Kucherov is on the team.
on. You want to look up?
Oh my God!
Aren't you guys still paying DiPietro?
No.
No, this is what's great about you.
Harley, you can't bring their name on the show.
That 5-foot rule, right? Oh, the 5-foot rule. But then you're like, oh, but if you want to count a guy's salary, he's never going to play that. Yeah, because it's a rule.
All right, so Jeff, you're going to find a loophole because, the great overrated man, Lyle, comes up with a guy that's never going to play ever again in the NHL because of his eye situation. And you're going to say, hey, you know what? Because he's on the list, he's on the roster because they can't get him off the roster.
No.
They can't get him off the roster.
No. Let's apply the same standard that you want to the too many men thing.
God.
Is it a rule? Is it a rule?
All right. You want to take that? You want to say that's okay? That's all right. The Islanders shouldn't have lost that game. It should have went 0-0, and the Islanders should have challenged. They should have a right to challenge. The NHL needs to change the fucking rule. Okay? There's my curtain. That's it. I'm sitting here. You're going to tell me the NHL have been doing this over and over and over again, and it has been. It's all on the Lightning side and not on any other team side. What's going to happen when this happens again in this Montreal Canadiens series? What are you going to say then?
You're not going to get any argument from me on that. They should change the rule. I'm totally in agreement with that. I was the first one saying it, wasn't I?
Yes.
Oh,
was I not?
Yes.
What a play.
Yes.
Right. So I was the first one saying it. Are they violating the rule? Technically, no, but they're violating the spirit of the rule for sure. They found a loophole. They're trying to cheat it. That's what they're doing. They need to make a more concrete rule that prevents that from happening.
Mm-hmm.
But to say the Lightning are doing it and the Islanders didn't would also be incorrect, wouldn't it?
Just Speedy, read all the.
All right. Lyle says, "All hail Jeff." LOL. Ben says, "Let's not." LOL. Lyle says, "I remember him saying the same thing about too many men." Ben says, "This is getting good," with popcorn emojis. Lyle says, "Evan, call in," whoever that is. Snug says,
My brother. He's talking.
It's like the neighborhood call on the double play in baseball. It's not an exact science. Carl says, "Easy to give up 8." Lyle says, "I know you're reading." Snug says, "Haha, they give way more leeway on penalties in the playoffs." Carl says, "Errol, stop deflecting from Jeff." Lyle says, "People always change the topic when they're wrong. Jeff wins this one." Carl says they lost 4-3 in the series and lost a game 8-0. How did that game not cost them the series? Snug says,
Lyle, the only reason why I'm changing the subject is because of that stupid take that I'll always remember as one of the most ridiculous takes I've ever heard in my entire life.
Your buddy's got the dumbest take I've ever heard.
No. I'm telling you, to hear
hold
that
on.
Barzell is overrated, it's ridiculous.
That doesn't take the cake as saying
well, the whole
Ezekiel Elliott's better than Barry Sanders.
Go ahead.
That's by
Hold
far.
on, Tyler, that's the most outrageous one. You don't remember the cut on Tom Brady's hand wasn't real? It was made up?
I do remember that.
No, the beef still takes the plaque.
No, but beef. That Ezekiel Elliott Barry Sanders takes the dumbest thing I've ever heard in life.
You know what's funny, Jeff? I'll admit that it was real, but before it even was shown in the real sense, I'm gonna still come out. I still believe that it wasn't, because all of a sudden it came out that he had something wrong with his hand, and he didn't want to show it. Nobody wanted. There was nothing that was showing that thing until before the game. But they did 24 hours.
That Tampa Bay goal is the nicest goal I've seen in quite a long.
Was that Coleman that scored that goal?
Next to Down syndrome, how retarded it was.
Well, good. Thank you, Jeff.
That was point, I think.
Thank you, Jeff. Let me tell you something, Jeff. There's a lot of stupid things that are said, and not every take on a radio station is right. Okay, that was my take. That's what I thought. Oh well, I was wrong.
Tyler, CJ is giving you a warm welcome. What's up, fellas? Hi, Tyler. Never got to meet you, but it's good to see you. I hope Errol Marks makes you right at home. CJ is the host of our show, Weapons Hot, our New York Jets show on Friday.
Oh, good. I'm glad people still remember my name.
Shout out to CJ.
They probably do know who I am.
Lyle says, Jeff already explained it. I'm not repeating. Ben says, what's up to CJ? Carl says, $8 million is just 5 feet from the bench. Lyle said, what the Lightning did was different than what the Isles did. Tampa Bay Lightning put healthy players on LTIR, but doesn't matter. Series over. I'm full into baseball season. They were over all season, by the way. They were over the cap all year. Boychuk was on LTIR. Errol's saying the momentum's starting to change on the fly. That's what it sounds like. Suggs says, well, the Beav is the undefeated champ of stupid takes.
No. Him and Guido.
What a goal. God. Hashtag ban the Beav. Carl says too many goals on the ice. Lyle says, I admit I exaggerated on the Barzell take out of emotion from him playing bad. I don't hide that.
You want to see how mad I can make Errol in about 5 seconds?
Is it?
So no, Aaron Boone's the dumbest manager in baseball. That's quite clear.
Oh,
now.
we were prepared for this.
No, but what I'm gonna say is that next year, when the Islanders aren't even the best team in their own state, oh my God, can you imagine?
Why? Because you think the Rangers are going to be there?
The Rangers are the best. The Rangers roster-wise are the best talent in New York.
You're on
They
drugs.
just haven't put it
You're
together.
on drugs.
No
You're
way.
On drugs. You're on
no,
drugs.
I stopped doing drugs.
You're on drugs.
Hey, it's the Yankees now that the Blue Jays play in Buffalo.
Right.
Oh, speaking of outrageous takes,
the Mets are the best team in New York right now, and that's atrocious.
Tyler, speaking of outrageous takes, never forget Vlad Jr. is better than going to be better than his father. Too.
Yeah, right. You remember the stupid shit I had to deal with?
Just so you know, there's no way in hell the Rangers have the better roster.
What do you mean? They have the best
No,
player.
they don't.
They have the best goalie.
No, they do not have
the best.
so you're telling me?
Oh, here we go.
You're going to tell me the Rangers have the better goalie? The Islanders' 2 goalies are better than any of the Rangers' goalies.
Igor Shesterkin, talent-wise, is the best
16 and
goalie
14,
in New York.
262.
Hold on a second. You're not allowed to compliment Semyon Varlamov ever. You are not allowed to compliment him, Arrow. You are banned.
Thrown away by the Avalanche. Thrown away?
Thrown away.
Who was better?
He was
Who
atrocious.
was better this year? Who was better, Varlamov or Shesterkin?
Hold on. The Islanders.
Sorokin was better than Shesterkin.
Hold on. Stop.
Yeah.
The Islanders' defense, the team plays better.
Okay.
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
The Islanders play better as a team. Talent-wise, the Rangers are more talented.
No, they're not.
Oh, my
Offensively,
God.
maybe
the best
better
two players in New York are both wearing blue and red.
Why? Because they're offensive players, and the best defensive players, all around defensive players,
actually,
are on the Islanders.
Actually, we have the Norris Trophy winner, so you can take
I
that
was
to the
waiting
bank, too.
I was waiting for him to say that.
At 22 years
I
old,
was waiting for
Adam
him to say
Fox is also the best defensive player
I was
here.
waiting for you to say that. First of all, he has he deserves a lot of credit. Honest to God, he did not deserve that Norris Trophy. And Speedy could agree with that with me.
Speedy, I'll punch you.
Speedy,
it's been a very long time.
And he knows it.
Hold on.
He knows it.
Jeff was trying to say something. Go ahead, Jeff. What were you saying?
Yeah, I mean, you know what Tyler's doing right now, right? Like, do you know what he's doing with this whole the Rangers have more talent than the Islanders?
It's a really ridiculous statement.
He's making the Beavs Cowboys argument that the Cowboys should be good just because they have talent on the roster.
Hold on, stop, hold on. The fact that you just compared me to the Beavs makes me want to go to Florida and smash all your liquor.
Take.
But this is exactly what you're doing, right? Because
No.
one team made the playoffs and one team didn't, and then you're
Right, because our coach
didn't make the playoffs.
literally could not
has
coach.
more talent.
They could not
had
coach.
more talent-
They couldn't coach.
If they had more talent, they would have scored more goals. They would have stopped.
They
the
actually-
playoffs, would
they
have made
actually-
the playoffs.
Outscored their opponents. So by that logic, and they also had the toughest conference in hockey. They always have the toughest conference in hockey.
They had the toughest conference in hockey, and they didn't make the playoffs.
What do you mean? We're in the same conference.
The Rangers,
You're in the same conference.
Yeah, and
That's
the
not
Islanders
toughest
made it
conference in hockey.
and the Rangers made it. The Islanders made it to the playoffs in back-to-back years and went to the Eastern
I agree
Conference
with you.
Championship.
We made the playoffs last year too, guys.
And you're telling me that the Rangers have more talent than the Islanders.
They absolutely have more talent.
Josh,
The
you're a
Islanders
Ranger
play
fan.
better.
What did you?
The Islanders play better.
What
I'll
did you
give you
say? Do the Rangers have more talent than the Islanders? Yes.
Right now, no, and especially structured wise as well. It's not even close. Listen, you hope Gallant gives you something. I'll go to my grave saying this: Barry Trotz is the best coach in the NHL right now.
Agreed. I agree with this.
No, but you see, that's the thing, though, Tyler. Is that's
They
what's going to
play
trump.
better.
No matter how much talent.
They don't have more talent.
No, but that's the thing. No matter how much talent you have,
Barzell,
I will go to battle with Barry
They
Trotz
have a
every
star.
time, and that's going to trump anything that the Rangers
Rangers have about 4.
Right, but this is exactly what's wrong with the argument, right? But this is exactly what's wrong with the argument. Just because they have more higher end talent, because they have a Zabinajad, because they have a Panarin, you think that's more talent? Well, the
Panarin's a top 5 player in hockey, so yeah, that's talent.
The Islanders are 4 lines deep. What are the Rangers? 1?
I'd say 2. I'd say 2.
They don't have more talent. You're
actually,
on drugs.
the Buchnevich line was probably the best playing line on the team all year.
You're on drugs, Tyler.
But you're also.
I thought you said you quit drugs,
right? You're saying
I did quit drugs. Thank you.
Has more talent.
Thank God.
I was just trying to stick up for you, Tyler.
I know. I got.
Let Jeff speak.
He never shuts up. What do you mean? Let him speak.
That 4-line team has 12 players that can play offense. You're telling me that Rangers have 6, and somehow your argument are the Rangers have more talent. It's absurd.
It is absurd. I agree with you, Jeff. And then it's not because I'm an Islander fan. It's
It's
facts.
completely because you're an Islander
No,
fan.
it's not. No, it's not.
Next
No, it's
year,
not. No,
when the Rangers
Next
outplay
year.
the Islanders,
You said that last year.
do not come crying to me.
The Islanders are a better all-around team than the Rangers.
I never said that.
They will
I
be
never
a
said the
better
Rangers were the
all-around
better
team
I
next
said they had
year.
more talent.
No.
The Islanders are by far the better team. I never.
And the
even
Islanders,
described that.
when you have a better team, they have more talent. You need
true.
talent to
That's
have
not
a better
true
team.
at all.
Yes. Okay.
The Islanders are a better team than Montreal. Montreal made the cup.
All right. Okay. Tyler, give me I'm going to give you a team. Tell me the last champion. Okay. The last any champion that didn't have more talent than the other team.
The Cavaliers being Golden State.
Okay. You think the Cavaliers didn't have better talent?
Most of the Patriots teams.
What do you mean most of the Patriots teams?
Outside of Tom Brady, who they have?
Oh, so the Patriots didn't have talent.
They
didn't
Tom
have all-around
Brady.
talent.
They had Tom Brady.
Oh, so it was just
and
Tom
Bill
Brady.
Belichick.
It was just Tom Brady.
I mean, he was throwing to David Patton and David
What
Gibbons
about Aaron
and,
Hernandez?
Troy
What about
Brown.
Gronkowski?
He
What about
never
those
won
guys?
with Gronk.
What about
He actually just won with Gronk playing this year.
I'm asking you right now. What about those?
And then
guys?
the one in LA where that was like what 17
Still,
to 9.
They still have Gronkowski. So you're telling me that all the players that they have, they're not top end, big end talent that you said. When you look at a team and you compare and contrast the team, to be a champion, you have to have overall great talent to be a champion. You can't be a champion. Oh, I'm telling you, you do. You
Look
need
at the
talent.
Nationals team that just won a friggin'
They're
World
the best
Series.
example of that.
They were playing the best baseball.
Okay.
Baseball's the
Hold
perfect
on.
example.
Who had the
baseball?
best? You're telling
Every
me
year the best
You're
team
telling me the
doesn't
Nationals.
win.
You're telling me the Nationals that year didn't have the best pitching talent.
Did they have the best
Did
team?
they have the best rotation?
They weren't even the best team in the
Did
National
they
League.
have the best rotation in the playoffs?
They had the best three-man rotation.
They had the best rotation.
Name me the 4 and 5 starters from that team. You probably can't even do it.
What are you talking about? Sanchez, what was his?
Anibal Sanchez.
Anibal Sanchez was just as good as any one of those three guys. So you're
He
and by the
pitched
way,
well in the World Series. I'll give you that.
he pitched well in the playoffs. He pitched well in the playoffs. Okay, and Anibal Sanchez was the best pitcher on that roster in the World Series.
Calm down. It was Strasburg.
No, it wasn't.
Calm down.
Not in the playoffs.
Calm down.
Go
It was
look
Strasburg.
at. Go.
Then
Look,
their bullpen got super hot. That bullpen got super
doesn't matter who had the best rotation in the playoffs. Who had the best rotation in the playoffs?
Who played
the
the best
Nationals
baseball?
and
Best
the Nationals.
baseball, the
And
Nationals.
what wins championships in baseball? Pitching staffs. We all know
playing
that.
the baseball
we
at the right time.
all know that. Anyways,
hold on. By your logic, as a Yankee fan, how many
God.
stupid
Are we
times?
going to go back with the Yankees? What the
Because
hell?
everyone always tells me the Yankees are winning a World Series because we have talent. Blah blah blah. You have a terrible manager. Our pitching staff is one man deep. And Aaron Judge is a shell of himself.
We're not going on baseball. We're not in the baseball segment. Speedy, in the last 3 years, have I ever said that the Yankees were going to win a World Series?
No, I think you only said made it. I don't think you ever said win it.
That's all I'm going to say. I never, ever, 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 ever said the Yankees were good
There
enough.
are 5 evers there. He means it. There are 5 of them.
And I've done it at the start of the season. I don't think you did it in the
you'll
playoffs.
get this.
I said
Chris
they have the
Jericho's-
talent to
Chris
win a World
Jericho's gonna
Series. I didn't
file
think
a
they were.
grievance.
Let's go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into some basketball conversation. We're going to get into the New York Knicks this whole dang time, why the Knicks should not make this trade. If this trade rumor is true, I think it's an absolute debacle if the Knicks make a move for this. And we'll talk about the 2 playoff series and why I think the Hawks are going to play not the LA Clippers in the NBA championship when we come back here on the Sports Loudmouths.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Do current market conditions have you nervous? Our experienced team of financial professionals at Heritage Harbor Financial Associates understands that no 2 investors are alike. We all have different goals, needs, and appetites for risk. That's why the one-size-fits-all approach does not work, especially when planning for retirement. At Heritage Harbor Financial Associates, we analyze your unique investment style so that you can work toward your individual retirement goals on your terms. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates can help you take steps to reach your retirement goals by providing a wide array of financial products to fit your needs, even for the risk adverse. Give us a call at 631-331-6599 to learn more or to set up an appointment with one of our financial professionals. You can also find us on the web at hhfa.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/hhfa.org. Our number again is 631-331-6599. That's 631-331-6599. Investments in stock, bonds, and mutual funds and variable annuities are not FDIC insured and are subject to fluctuation in value and market risk, including loss of principal. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates offers securities through AXA Advisors LLC, New York, New York. Member FINRA, SIPC, annuity and insurance products offered through AXA Network LLC.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. This is the Sports Loudmouths.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sports Loudmouths. I'm your host, Errol Marks. My co-host, Speedy Petey, Joshua Silverberg, and our special guest. Yes, it's Tyler Harrison. Mr. Mothball is back.
Oh, God damn it. I don't
Remember, you can listen to our show every single Wednesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. You can call us at 631-965-4990. You can go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. And ladies and gentlemen, go to iOS, WWSRN, or Android, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Well. That was a great segment. Interesting segment. Back and forth banter. I'm sure we'll get into a lot more segments on the show that could just be argumental and just disgraceful. Thank you, Jeff, for calling the show. I'm sure he'll probably get into more arguments with us one way or another during this show. I want to get into this Damian Lillard situation with the New York Knicks. Now, I think Damian Lillard is the best point guard in the NBA. I can't even argue that right now. I think he is. All-around player in the league at his position. The problem with Dame Lillard is not the fact that I don't think Dame Lillard he can be a Knick at sometime this offseason. I think that the Knicks, if these stories are true and the Knicks are all, the trade that they want, the Portland Trailblazers want, Obi Toppin, Quigley, RJ Barrett, and swap of 2 first-round draft picks and 2 possible other first-round draft picks to be named. I think it's a catastrophe. It could set the Knicks back for many, many years if they make this trade. Now, is Dame Lillard that great? I think he is. I think he can give the Knicks that superstar that they're lacking. I think he gives that point guard position, which the Knicks have been lacking. I don't remember the last point guard that I could put in the top 5 in the league as good as Dame Lillard. But what scares me about this is the Knicks have been building through these young players for the last couple of years. They've been doing everything right. Now, all of a sudden, they have salary room. They have the young players that they can move. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to pull off a Brooklyn Nets move. And a Brooklyn Nets, and everybody, and by the way, Snug says Derek Harper. Derek Harper is not Dame.
He was on a top 5.
He's not Dame Lillard.
John Starks the last time they said a good point.
And John Starks is a shooting guard. He wasn't a point guard. He was a shooting guard. He was 2. And by the way, Mr. Bricklayer, can keep bricking because that's what he's probably doing right now, working as a bricklayer. But to me,
what did you take a shot at?
I'm taking a shot at John Starks because I think he stunk when it came to playing in the big game and hitting the big shot. He couldn't do it. To me, when you look at Dame Lillard, I think he's a great player. I think that if we can get him for maybe an RJ Barrett and 2 first-round draft picks, I would do it. I am not trading Emmanuel Quigley. I'm not trading Obi Toppin. I'm not trading 2 other first-round picks for Dame Lillard, who's 32 years old. He might have 2, maybe 3 more good years left. He's got 3 years left on his contract. If he does not win with the Knicks in 3 years, he can go somewhere else. He can move on somewhere else and screw the Knicks and put the Knicks 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the road in a bad situation. So I think that if this is true, if these stories are true, and this is what Portland is looking for, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I think the Knicks need to step back. They need to do a real soul searching on this because Rose is doing it right. Perry is doing it right. Thibodeau is doing it right. This team is definitely 3-4 years ahead of schedule. They were a 4th seed in the Eastern Conference, guys. 4th seed. Now, by the way, Sam Bruck is saying none of these guys, young guys, are winning the Knicks anything. It's a superstar league. Trade them all. Okay, Sam, you're going to trade all these young players for one guy when you can use those other 2 players to bring in another superstar. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. Sam, I don't know who you are, and this might be the first time you're on our feed, and I'm happy that you joined us, and it's great. If you want to call the show, you're more than welcome to. 631-965. Speedy, put it up. 965-499.
He's one of my brother's friends.
Yeah,
so
you could call the show. One guy isn't going to help you win a championship. It's not. Okay? And it's not going to – it will help the Knicks. Is it going to make the Knicks that much better as a 4th seed? Really? If you lose, Emmanuel Quigley could be better next year. Obi Toppin, who's going to be better next year. RJ Barrett, who's gotten better in 2 years, who's going to be better next year. You're going to tell me, and giving up 4 first-round draft picks for 2 swaps. That makes sense? Yeah, okay. The Knicks have been doing this forever, trading first-round draft picks. And where has it gotten them? Nowhere. Now you want to trade away the team for one player? What are you, nuts? Whatever you're smoking, please send it over here. I'll smoke it with you. We could pass, and puff, and pass, okay? Because it's a joke. And anybody that thinks that. Tyler, I want to know what your thoughts to it.
Not to be boring, I think you nailed it. I'm not touching quickly, right? To him, he's off limits. Mitchell Robinson to me is off limits. I'm all right with Knox, Toppin. RJ Barrett to me, I'd really, really rather keep if I'm the Knicks too. Honestly, though, go sign Reggie Jackson. Bring him here. Try to keep Derrick Rose if you can for cheap. And go get a scorer, a bona fide scorer, or a Kawhi Leonard, because he's not staying in LA. He's out. He will opt out. And honestly, if Kawhi wins with the Raptors and then goes win with the Knicks, that's a huge boost to his legacy as well. If I'm the Knicks, unless Portland drastically undercuts their trade package, I'm not taking Damian Lillard either.
Just to get some of the other comments, and Ben was saying this is getting good. Lyle says if the Rangers get more center depth, he thinks they'll have more of the talent.
Center depth, all we have is centers.
Sam Bruck also
We've got like 8 centers. What do you mean more depth?
Well, get to the basketball, okay? Because we're in basketball. Don't go to the hockey. Go to the basketball. You could have said that on the last segment. We're not talking hockey. We're talking basketball.
Snug says Damian Lillard to the Sacramento Kings. That's probably not happening. Carl says rumors. Carl also says Fizdale to the Lakers as an assistant. They ain't gonna rook us. Snug says D Harper was the man. You read Sam's. Lyle says my boy Sam. Snug says, hey, nothing wrong with a little puffing and passing, just saying. And then Sam Brooks says, a group of guys aren't winning either. Sign/trade for superstars. No one is untouchable. You cannot win in the NBA without an all-star team.
And you're going to trade all your young players for one guy.
Tell that to 2011 Mavericks.
Yeah, but that was a big fluke in NBA history, though. I mean,
they also had one of the best.
What kind of underdog run would that be? And that's never happened.
One of the best scorers in the league.
They had a top 7 player on that team.
No, I agree with you, but the Knicks have Julius Randle, so let's act like the Knicks have talent.
How often regardless of the talent, how many times do underdog runs like that happen in the NBA, though?
Tyler, you might not want to hear it, but at the same time, Nero and I talked about this. Listen, when he played in front of no fans, he was great. When fans came back, he
was terrible.
He crapped the bed.
The playoff series in New York.
No. I'm talking.
It wasn't before the playoff series, dude. The last week, they almost lost to a Celtics team that had their top 6 guys not even playing, and they still almost lost that game. And all they had to do was win against the Hornets and a depleted Celtics team that had nobody playing. Both games at MSG, by the way. One went to overtime, and one where I think they were like 18.5-point favorites. The only one by, I think, what was it, Arrow? 8 or 9?
8 or 9.
They sniffed it. And they barely stood. And then they got pounced by the Hawks.
Right. But what I'm trying to say to you is, A, it's the end of the season. He's probably fatigued, right? He's playing a lot of minutes. And then going into this playoff series, it was literally his first playoff basketball experience as the man in New York. That's hard. That's
Welcome
very
to Tom
hard.
Thibodeau's system.
I'll give him a pass for that. But Julius Randle is clearly the anchor of the team. Clearly.
Now listen, if he's the anchor of your team and he's your number 1 option, you're not winning anything. He's best at 3. He has to be your third option.
I get him a Robin.
I
or
think
a Batman.
Robin, he's lucky he should be a Catwoman if you're whatever Batgirl.
Now you're being disrespectful.
The Penguin.
Seriously, Tyler, I'm telling you this, man. If he, and I've said this to Arrow off the air as well, and he knows this, if Julius Randle is your first or second option, you're freaking screwed. Okay? You are. That's
really disrespectful. But I'll be honest with you. I remember when the Knicks signed Julius Randle. You guys didn't appreciate him at all. At all. I watched him in college and I watched him in LA. He's better than you give him credit for. And to be quite honest with you, a lot of the blame for the Knicks should go on Tom Thibodeau. He not for the season. You guys didn't get out of the first round because Tom Thibodeau didn't make any adjustments. 0. So
I don't think they were the worst defensive team in the league to the best defensive team in the league.
I don't think they were beating the Hawks anyways. Look what
they
the
could have
Hawks
played better though.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to throw Speedy under the bus, but Speedy and I, when we talked off the air about this, Speedy knows this. Speedy told me, he said the Hawks, the Knicks hadn't worked out than the Hawks. I said, no shot. I said, go look at the Hawks. They got John Collins coming on.
Speaking of the Hawks, by the way, speaking of the Hawks, I think the Hawks have a very good chance now to win this series. after you're now the Greek Freak out there. There were stories coming out.
Well, shout out to Sam for watching tonight.
There's no damage on his knee. Everybody thought he's going to be out for the next year. Okay, they said that his knee was done. If you watch that, it looked bad. It looked as bad as Paul George. Remember when he did that on the United States game? It was bad. I was very surprised when I heard the MRI came back saying that there's no ligament damage, there's no anything structure damage. He could be back sometime in the next series, but he's not coming back in this series. And Trae Young will be back next game, even with the ankle problem. I think this is the Hawks series to win. After watching it, if anybody had a chance to win this series and knock the Hawks out, was last night when the Bucks had a chance to completely, and even without Trae Young. Without Trae Young, this Hawks team is subpar best. They're a good team. They're not a great team. Okay? Trae Young completely changes the dynamic of that team. This team with Trae Young, I believe they're going to the NBA championship. I absolutely believe it.
But even with Giannis playing last night, they were still losing by 8 or 9 points.
Yeah, I don't
didn't play great.
I think they were done by 13 when Giannis got hurt.
Yeah, they didn't even play great. And again, this just shows the lack of how I find it. Like that's, I always say that second motor, right? Something that I just don't think Giannis has. Now, listen, Giannis is still a top 5 player. He's one of the best players in the league. He doesn't have that second motor where he doesn't bring guys over the top, I feel like. Yesterday is a game without Trae Young. That Hawks team is feeling down, upset, fatigued, depressed that they lost a superstar player and one of their leaders, and they go out and they crap the bed and lose by 13. They were losing by 13 before Giannis got hurt. And again, Giannis cost them the game against Brooklyn in Game 5, where Middleton gave him the pass and he fumbled the ball twice under the basket. He just doesn't have that itch, I feel like, as a player, that I could say this guy's
killer instinct.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't have it. To me, he lacks it. He's not that guy. He's not a finisher, in my opinion.
He's a Robin. He's not a Batman.
We're going superhero.
Carl says that the Suns might win with 2 All-Stars. Sam says the Knicks haven't won a playoff series. Not one guy on that roster. It's a generation. One guy won't win it all, but trying to grow it won't work either. Lyle says, in response to Sam, which is why the NBA is dog, swear word, and I hate it with a passion, amongst other reasons too. Carl says Suns might do it. Capella and Young,
they are going to do it if they win this.
If the Suns get to the finals, they're winning it.
They're winning.
Yeah. Capella and Young are hurt. Sam says anything for you, Josh. Lyle says he didn't even say you were one of his friends. You were saying one of Evan's friends. And Sam says my guy Huerter will carry them. He has played.
Well, listen, I like Sam too. Okay, you want me to feel better? I've called Sam a friend anyway before. So in the end, if that's what makes, who said it? Lyle said that.
Yeah. Lyle said.
Of course he did, because he's a crap.
The same guy that said Barzell is overrated.
We're not on the hockey topic.
No, we're not. I'm not taking any advice from a guy that tells me one player is overrated.
The upsetting thing is, I gotta tell you. I mean, listen, we're only, like I said, the show's till 11. I know it usually goes over. We're saving the best for last. Arrow, I know when he told me, Tyler, that you were coming on, he knew. He put his fist up. He said, Aaron Boone.
I don't want to know.
Aaron Boone.
I don't want to know.
This is what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the Speedy and I are ready. We'll even mute
all right, why are you bringing that up? We're not even
on
baseball.
I don't know. Hold on, we have another bombshell. Sam agrees with Lyle, apparently. Barzell is overrated. Left Lyle hack
and who is Sam? Who is Sam? Oh, by the way, he's Lyle's friend. I rest
my brother's friend. He's an acquaintance with Lyle.
I rest my case.
How old are these kids that we're even like?
I don't know. It's Josh's people. I don't know.
No.
Yeah,
that's my case.
Carl says, unless she's making you a lunch for camp.
Oh, you don't want to go with your people.
Say whatever you want.
My people know. I don't want to.
Anyways, Tyler, what is your take about this Hawk series?
I think Atlanta deserves a lot of credit. I think they built this thing beautifully. And this is also why I think you're kind of a hypocrite. They've literally done Golden State 2.0. They got Steph Curry. They found Klay Thompson. They've literally built.
Who's Klay Thompson?
I mean,
I want to know this.
I think Herter and Trae Young play very well.
Herter is not Klay Thompson.
No. That's not what I know. But he plays very well with Trae Young. John Collins, and they got a steal for Clint Capella. I don't know how I still don't understand why Houston gave up.
They gave him away because they didn't want his
Lou
contract.
Williams as a 6th man of the year is very Andre Iguodala like. They
He doesn't play defense.
Right, but
Iguodala
that's
is a
not what I'm
defensive
saying.
player.
No, I'm not. What I'm trying to say
You
to
just said it's just like 2.0. How they land. They're not.
Yes,
they're
but
not
you
even
get
close.
a veteran presence off the bench to help them get to that spot. Lou Williams, I don't know. Name another bench player that can come off and drop 30 a night.
Name the last time Andre Iguodala did that.
But Golden State kept him for defense. They didn't need him for offense.
They're nothing alike. Those teams are.
He also won the NBA Finals MVP though, so he was
2.0 Golden State.
They're nothing.
It's almost
no,
like they
not.
took
They're
the blueprint
nothing alike.
and put it there.
They're nothing alike.
Great coach. Great coach.
Great coach. He's an interim coach. Has lost
Great
his job.
He ain't going to be an interim anymore, though. And I said
No,
great
job.
Great coach.
He's an interim coach.
I bet you they give him the job.
They're going to give him a job. They have to give him the job.
And he's still.
So how's he an interim coach if he's got the job?
He technically has the label because he was an assistant at the start of the year.
He's an interim
Which
coach.
we don't know why.
Jesus.
We don't know why he was. I mean, the Pacers shouldn't have fired him to begin with.
No.
But,
Well,
By the way, they did
now
the right
look at
thing.
what the Pacers are, though.
They did the right thing because they've
well, now, they fell into their laps. Then
Well,
another
right.
team decided
That's
to fire
'cause
Rick
Dallas was like,
Carlisle
"Oh, look,
and make everything bad for
we're
them."
gonna go
Yeah.
backwards and take the Jason Kidd montage." All right, well, take him.
Right.
By the way, Rick Carlisle decided to part ways with them.
But they presented the situation badly for Rick Carlisle to step down
because they wanted him to stay out of the whole saga between Porzingis and Luka Doncic, and that was the whole thing. And he stepped in and he took Luka's side, and of course
He should have taken Luka's side.
but that's what caused
Kristaps
problems.
Porzingis is the biggest waste of basketball.
No, there you go. So,
Jesus, if I was the Dallas Mavericks, I'd sue him for friggin' tampering and fine him and everything else. You've robbed Mark Cuban for about 12 months.
Didn't Mark Cuban just hire the guy from Nike too to be like the president of basketball operations?
yeah, which is ridiculous.
I don't even understand that one came out of left field.
Also, all the cheating scandals we've heard Nike do over the last couple of years with the Olympics.
Sam says, "Don't talk about my boy Hoarder." Snug says, "Nate McMillan has done a hell of a job."
Nobody said that he didn't, but he's an interim.
I liked him before the playoffs started.
I
got ridiculed.
Yep. Sam said, "I don't typically agree with Lyle, but Barzal is fine. Nothing more, and the NBA is as bad as professional sports league as there is. Get back to hockey." And Ben says, "Suns up 66-57 at halftime over the Clippers."
We expect them to win that series, okay, and we know that.
Well, Kawhi Leonard quit.
Well, Kawhi Leonard didn't quit.
No,
Kawhi Leonard's
stop.
not 100% healthy, and
He could play.
oh, he definitely could play. He just
All
doesn't
right,
want.
then he quit. He doesn't want to. That means he quit.
Are you going to play? First of all, are you going to
If
play?
I'm sick and I can do this show and I'm like, I don't want to, what would you tell me?
I'd say that you're a pussy.
All right. Oh, that's two. That's two.
right.
Didn't he tell me not to curse?
I don't think that. I don't think pussy is a bad word.
I will say this, in
It
his
isn't an
defense,
object, but like still, I don't
think
understand.
Tyler, in his defense, I don't think he's since I've done the show with him. I don't think he's ever said the F bomb.
No,
that's the first
Oh,
time.
that's because you don't rile him up right. You gotta massage him.
No. Oh no, trust me.
You gotta get him warmed up before you.
Tyler, go listen to the Weekend Crunch. I rile him up just fine.
Eric Coleman's still here?
No. I Eric Coleman and me decided. Eric's very busy.
Oh,
so
no, my bad.
Yeah, Eric is very busy, so we had to part ways. And Eric still listens to the show. He's a big fan of the show, and
Good guy, very good guy.
But he's too busy. He's got a lot of businesses, and he couldn't put 110%. And I can't have somebody not give 110%. And me and Eric decided to part ways, and it was for the best. And Eric is a supporter on everything that we're doing. So thank you. But again, by the way, congratulations for his 13th anniversary. Him and his wife Sabrina.
Yes.
Eric.
Nice
Coleman.
lady.
By the way, if you notice, all about Eric, nothing was just said about me at all when he was doing that whole thing.
Wait a minute.
He didn't say a single thing about me doing the show.
Well, I thought you know. First of all, Josh, I don't have to mention if he actually knows the show.
I have no
you know
idea.
that you're a part of the show. So why do I have
I
to
didn't
mention
watch shows when I
No,
was.
he didn't know. Tyler didn't know.
How do I know? How would I know?
He just said Eric Coleman was on the show still.
Well, guess what, Josh? You're a part of the show. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? I thought he did know.
Josh,
okay, so
there would be meetings he didn't even address me. So actually, that's a lie. There'd only be meetings he addressed only me. So that's not true.
Carl says, "Cubs, the second team to score 7 runs in the first inning and still lose by 7 runs." Yes, that was crazy, Carl.
No,
Ben says, "Carl, go Brewers," and then he responds, but definitely no. But Cubs are struggling.
They're as far as I'm concerned with the NBA this offseason, it's going to be very, very interesting on a lot of these teams with the money that the Knicks have. The Lakers making moves because, LeBron James isn't going to sit back and be second best, especially if Chris Paul wins his first championship. So, and I don't believe Chris Paul will be back with the Suns no matter what happens this year. So, and that's my take on
He's going to go to LA.
I don't know where he's going.
He's going to go to LA and play with his boy.
I don't know, because I did hear stories that he's always wanted to play in New York too. So, and that's something that
he's not going to go play with the Nets.
I said the Knicks. He's always wanted to play with the Knicks.
You think the Nets have room for that?
Yeah.
No, they don't.
There were stories that he always wanted to play with the Knicks when Melo was there. Chris Paul. He's always wanted to come to New York and play with the Knicks. There were stories when he went to Melo's wedding. If anybody remembers, there were stories coming out that Chris Paul made an announcement stating that we're going to make our what is it, the three, whatever they call it, the three
banana boat 3 or
whatever they were going to call, and he wanted to come to New York. He wanted to come to the Knicks this off season, but Rose didn't want to give up as much as the Suns wanted to get. The Suns gave up to get him. So, and that's why he's playing for the Suns. And he is opting out of that $44 million contract when everybody thought he wasn't. So he is opting out. I don't know if it's the Knicks. I don't know if it's the Lakers, but he won't be playing for the Suns next year. And I'll tell you that for a fact. And DeAndre Ayton said something very interesting the other day about Chris Paul. He said that his game has changed ever since Chris Paul has come to the team. And you can see the difference in DeAndre Ayton, who I thought was not the player that was drafted at number 1. He's been a complete different player since Chris Paul, especially in the playoffs. And he owes it all to Chris Paul. So that's a great compliment from a young player to a veteran player that everywhere he goes, you can say whatever you want. He hasn't won a championship, but he's made those teams better.
It's like sometimes Chris Paul and I go to insurance conventions and gives fake seminars about telemarketing insurance. That's a lot of fun. And Carl says, does Drake show up?
Who knows?
Really quick, according to Christian Winfield, who covers for the Daily News, the NBA, he says the Knicks are interested in packaging, obviously, Russ's RJ Barrett in a deal for either Damian Lillard or Washington's Bradley Beal.
I believe
Bradley Beal's a better fit.
But you're not trading away all those other. You're not trading Obi.
No, that would be insane. Then you're trading away your entire team.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that really quick, Arrow, I know you were going to say that, but really quick, it's with the Nets, they already had Kyrie and KD in place already.
Fight.
Like the Nets would be, like the Knicks would be just getting either Beal or Lillard. And then it's like, there's no banking on the fact that you're going to get other superstars there already. I mean, you could end up with just Damian Lillard this offseason and nobody else comes to the Knicks.
That's why you go after Kawhi Leonard.
I think this.
Yeah, you can, but
you can. I think a lot of these, if they get Bradley Beal, if Paul becomes a free agent, which he will, you bring in Paul, then you have Chris Paul, and then you have Bradley Beal. That's a pretty good 1-2 punch. And by the way, you still have Julius Randle
and Robinson.
You have a good core of players now that you can win with. So. Not necessarily if you get Bradley Beal. Chris Paul will be a free agent this offseason. I guarantee it.
They have to get a major superstar here for them to get that meeting with Kawhi. Because Kawhi will listen. He set up a meeting with them a couple years ago, and the Knicks dropped it.
He wasn't picking the Knicks.
No, I know, but even still, though, I think the Knicks should have done their due diligence.
Right, but the Knicks were a laughing stock when he took that meeting.
I understand that, but at the same time, with the due diligence of the Knicks, I think they should have taken the meeting.
All right, let's go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into some baseball and some football conversation here on the Sports Loudmouths.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Be fearless at MMA Long Island and Seituha Karate. Located at 28 Cold Court in Ronkonkoma, MMA Long Island is the martial arts school for you if you want to learn combat-proven techniques, build confidence, discipline, and self-esteem while learning real martial arts to fight back against bullies, predators, and peer pressure. MMA Long Island offers group and private lessons for all ages and levels in traditional Goju-Ryu Karate, MMA, and self-defense. MMA Long Island is one of Long Island's most affordable martial arts schools. There are no promotion, belt, or membership fees, and family discounts are available. All classes are taught by 7th degree black belt Sensei John Benedict with over 30 years teaching experience. So whether you want to get in the ring or protect yourself and your family, MMA Long Island can help you reach your goals. Visit MMALongIsland.com. That's MMALongIsland.com or call or text 516-381-9660. That's 516-381-9660.
Ed Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit him online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. This is the Sports Loudmouths.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Sports Loudmouths. I'm your host, Errol Mark. My co-host, Speedy Petey, and Little J, Joshua Silverberg, and our special guest, a late bloomer. It could be a late bloomer when it comes to, other things. You know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Explain to me.
Do you really want me to explain it?
I don't know if you want to go there.
No, I don't know what he means. What does he mean?
Well, think about it. Look past everything. Late bloomer. Puberty.
Late bloomer.
Anyways,
I'm greatly confused.
Tyler Harrison. Remember, you can call us at 631-965-4990. You can go to our
what was
website
that song again?
at www.worldwidesportsradio.com.
That was a good little beat.
And go to iOS, WWSRN, or Android Worldwide Sports.
He's talking. What are you doing? Tyler.
Baseball. I want to go through baseball quickly, and I want to get into football because there's a lot more to talk about when it comes to football. And I want to know Tyler's takes on some of the offseason and where he thinks that some of these teams could be moving on this season. There was some takes I heard from Mike Greenberg the other day on the quarterback situation. The quarterbacks were drafted this year and where they're placed this year in this season. So I was very interested on a take that he had and some of the other people that gave those takes as well. But we'll get into that in just 1 second. I want to get into baseball. The Yankees have not looked good all season long. The problems that they've had in the box and hitting.
They're savages.
They have not been hitting the ball. They've been struck. The Yankees have more strikeouts than hits this season, which is saying a lot about where the Yankees are offensively this year. Their pitching, if they're not, their pitchers aren't throwing up on the mound or getting sick. Getting sick on the mound, they're throwing the ball away to first base. So the Yankees pitching has been horrendous. Garrett Cole has had one of the worst months I've ever seen Garrett Cole have. So that's going to be an interesting move. Maybe it's because of the stuff that he was putting on his fingers. I don't think it is. I think Garrett Cole is a good pitcher. I beg to differ on. I just think he's had a very bad month. And by the way, they didn't look good against the Boston Red Sox that have looked very, very good this year. Maybe it's Alex Cora. Maybe it's because they're playing Little League. And I do blame on Aaron Boone. I don't understand. There were stories coming out from the Yankees organization, and it wasn't just Aaron Boone. It's management. It's the organization coming out and saying that none of the players should be bunting the ball. And the fact that you're a professional baseball player, and Clint Frazier, after the game the other day, when Clint Frazier and one of the press, remember what writer asked him this, why didn't you decide to bunt the ball when it was 1 out and you were down by 1? Why don't you bunt the ball and move the guy to third base? He says, I'm not paid to bunt the ball. I was told that I swing. And I swing for the ball. That's what it said. We don't play little league baseball. And to me, when you hear that from a player, Clint Frazier, who has not hit the ball all season long, he's looked horrendous. And he looks like a minor league player at best. He has not looked very, very good. He's looked horrendous. The fact that he's come out and said that there's a problem with management with the New York Yankees, and now. Now, do you blame Aaron Boone for everything? You do not. It's not Aaron Boone. He's not the batting. He's not running the batting. He's not the batting coach. He's not the hitting coach. They have 2 hitting coaches right now on the bench. They're not hitting the ball. The Yankees have not hit it. The only 2 players that have been hitting the ball the last few weeks is DJ LeMahieu, Aaron Judge. Those are the only and Gary Sanchez. Those are the only 3 players that have been hitting the ball for the Yankees in the last 3 weeks. So, really for the last 3 weeks. Now, what does this call for? Now, Aaron Boone's job is on the line. Okay, the Yankees are probably right now not making the playoffs. And it looks like, and there were stories coming out. I read a story by ESPN, an article, I forget who wrote it, stating that what do the Yankees do at the trade deadline? Are they sellers or are they buyers? I could honestly say this year, for the first time in almost 30 years, the Yankees are sellers. They have to sell.
I mean, you could have said that even too with Andrew Miller and Chapman and those guys. Yeah, they were sellers a couple years ago.
They weren't sellers because the Yankees.
That's what got you Glaber and Clint.
That's fine. The Yankees weren't.
Yeah, I mean, they still sold off players though. They were massive sellers at the deadline.
They sold off 2 players. Chapman,
and look what they got. They got holes back for those guys.
You're selling 2 players. You're not sellers. When you're a seller, you're selling 3, 4, 5 players away and trying to rebuild your farm system. The Yankees trade away 2 players, and they
rebuild their farm system.
The Yankees were only 3 games out of a playoff spot. Okay, that year. So the Yankees right now are not making the playoffs. They're more than 3 games out of the playoff spot. They're probably, if the way that division is going, the way the American League is going right now, if the Yankees go on a bid where they're winning 10 or 12 games in a row, or they win 12 out of 15 games, then you can talk about it. But right now, the Yankees are probably, for the first time, even with the Miller and Chapman, they were not full blown sellers, and even they had to get a lot to make those sales to trade Chapman, to trade Miller, and they got Chapman back there next year. I believe that this year, this is the first time in my eyes, as a Yankee fan, in 30 years, that the Yankees should be sellers. They have to be sellers. They're not going to trade Aaron Judge. They're not going to change. They might trade great Glaber Torres. I could see that. I think they will.
They shouldn't.
If they can get Trevor Stories, they will. But I could see the Yankees. They can't trade Giancarlo Stanton. He has a no trade clause. So unless they trade him to the LA Dodgers, or maybe the LA Angels, if he wants to go back, he wants to go to LA. But I don't see the Yankees keeping. Voit will be gone. Gio Urshela will probably be gone.
Thank God.
Gary Sanchez, the way he's hitting the ball, I could see him gone.
Thank God.
There's a good chance that the Yankees could trade off 5, 6, 7 players at the trade deadline to really recoup their farm system that has, obviously it's not, they're ranked 17th in the league right now when it comes to farm system. They have one of the best power hitters coming into the league in the next couple of years, and Jason Dominguez, we're going to see him at the All-Star game, at the future game, which everybody, and a pitching prospect that a lot of people like for the Yankees, that I forget his name. So
Medina?
I don't remember. It might be Medina, but another pitcher that the Yankees have in there, that they brought in from, I think, the Dominican Republic in the past. I think he was 15 years old when the Yankees signed him. But there's 2 good young players that the Yankees are going to have in a very, very near future that you're going to see in the futures game. But the Yankees need to rebuild. I think next year, I think you'll see the Yankees spend a lot of money next offseason. They're going to have to re-sign Aaron Judge if they decide to keep Aaron Judge or trade him away in the offseason. They're going to have to make a lot of decisions. Brian Cashman's going to have to make a lot of decisions. I just don't think this is their year. And I think it's time for the Yankees to be smart as an organization and say, you know what, even if we have a winning season this year, let's call this a year that we rebuild and make next year a better year. But Aaron Boone will be gone, and
Thank God
he will be gone. I after the last 2 seasons of the Yankees just not getting over the hump, and it's not all Aaron Boone's fault. The big players, the big bats in the big times. Last year, Aaron Judge did not look good in the playoffs. The people that the Yankees booed, Giancarlo Stanton, they always wanted him out. He was the only player him and DJ LeMahieu were the only players that were hitting the play, and Glaber Torres, the only 3 players that were hitting the playoffs last year. So I think the Yankees need to decide what they want to do, and it's not. And I don't want to hear Brian Cashman needs to be gone. Brian Cashman is the reason. And by the way, I'm listening to Sam Bruck. He says Cashman doesn't deserve the right to try to rebuild another team. What are you, crazy?
Thank you. Thank you, whoever you just – thank you.
Brian Cashman's been around for 30 years. Brian Cashman is the best GM in baseball. He is. He is the best GM in baseball. It's not easy. I would love to have a word with you. The Red Sox. They have a guy
he
there.
Built a really good Tampa Bay team, and now he's got Boston up and running.
He didn't rebuild that Tampa Bay team. He was he was an assistant. He was the second assistant manager.
Tampa Bay has a very, very good
GM.
group of young guys.
Yes, but it wasn't
he just
him.
left to take the Boston job, and now look what he's got the Red Sox up
Same
and doing.
team. He was given the same team. He didn't rebuild anything. It's that same team that he had. Who did he bring in? What? The Yankees relief pitcher. What's his name again?
Adam Ottavino. He's better than everyone not named Geraldus Chapman right now.
That's all he brought in. What else did he bring in?
I don't know, man. All I know is that the Boston Red Sox are winning and we are not.
They're playing small ball.
He's new and they're not.
They're playing
but
small ball.
But this is the problem with baseball. You either strike out or you hit a home run and you're a stud. That's the problem with baseball. Good. That's the problem with the Yankees. That's why we suck, and we haven't won a World Series since we were in high school.
I'm sorry to say it's not easy to win a World Series in all professional sports.
Oh,
it's the hardest.
Give me a break. This was the biggest waste of talent the New York Yankees have ever assembled.
Jeff, round two.
What's going on, Jeff? Speedy, come on. Hold on. I'm trying to get him on. Go ahead. What is it, Jeff? Jeff, you there?
Hunter Renfroe,
mm-hmm.
Nick Pivetta, Eduardo.
I forgot the Hunter Renfroe trade.
Right. Alex Verdugo, Jeter Downs. He brought in Marlon
Devers
Gonzalez.
is still – well, Devers isn't his thing.
No, Devers was already there.
No, I know, but I was going to mention him because he's a stud, but I forgot he had nothing to do with it.
But the list can go on and on about what he brought in, and you're going, but what did he bring in?
Wait a second, Jeff. Are you the one that told me that this Red Sox team stinks? Okay.
They do stink. No, they do stink. They're not built for the playoffs.
Okay, so
but when you go, who did he bring in besides Ottavino? 90%
big names. I'm talking about big names. Then
Big names don't matter in baseball.
Actually, it does.
The best player in baseball doesn't make the playoffs every year.
Hold on. Big names matter. Then why are the Rays in first, the Red Sox in second, and the Yankees sucking?
How many championships has Tampa Bay won?
They've been to as many World Series as the Yankees have the past decade.
How many championships has Tampa won?
Dude, ridiculously bad.
How many?
Ridiculous.
How many has Tampa won?
None.
Okay.
None. But
okay.
What are you going to go? 26
All right.
rings?
I'm just saying. How many wins? Now, I'm just saying. How many wins? Who won the World Series last year? Who won the World Series? Who won the World Series last year?
The Rays have just as many.
Who won the World Series last year? My question: who won the World Series last year?
The Nats, right?
The Dodgers. The Dodgers won.
The Dodgers.
And who was the most? And who was the most talented team in baseball last year?
Well, I don't know.
Hold on.
The Dodgers.
Hold on, though. Hold on.
Dodgers were the most talented
last year,
4
you
years.
don't count last year. Last year doesn't matter.
COVID
does not
top talent to win. It's facts. Okay. The only team that did it, and by the way, their pitching staff was great. They had the best pitching staff going to the play was the Nationals. Besides that, tell me a team that wasn't great and talented that didn't win a World Series. Okay. Who? That's it. That's about it. Every single year, a top team with top talent
wins. The first time the
wins.
Rays made the World Series wasn't very good either.
They didn't win. That's
but
what
they
I'm
were
saying.
there.
There is not winning. You
the
want
Yankees
to win.
haven't been to a World Series in 11 years.
Again, Tyler, I'm not talking
but
about
the Rays
the Yankees.
have been to 2.
I'm not talking about the Yankees. I'm talking about you need
it's
top talent
baseball
to
in general.
win. You need top talent.
That's baseball,
to
Susan.
That's not true. That's not true.
It is like that one. That's baseball, Susan.
Tell me that besides the Nationals, tell me the last champions every single year. Tell me the last championship.
So it was 18 was the Red Sox, 17 was the Astros who cheated, 2016 was the Cubs.
They still had top talent.
2016
top
was the
talent.
Cubs, very good talent. 2015 was the Royals, good talent.
Good talent.
Good talent. They were the most talented team in baseball.
They had great players.
2014 was the Giants.
Great players?
That's maybe the next one. Maybe that you say kid didn't have great talent.
Who was it?
Oh, that's right. The Giants won what? 3 out of 5?
Yeah, the Giants.
The odd year thing.
Well, I would say the first year they did, but 2014 where they were kind of a scrappy
They had 2 of the best
team.
pitchers in baseball. Okay?
They had Bumgarner and who?
When they won the other titles, Lincolnson. Remember him?
No, I was referring to 2014.
Lincecum was a shot for the second one.
It doesn't matter. He won Cy Youngs. He was a great pitcher. He was a great pitcher. He was a great pitcher. Go ahead.
All right, so 2013.
And they had the best catcher in baseball.
2013 was the Red Sox, that was a pretty scrappy random team, and Jeff knows that for sure. That was very surprising. 2012 was the Giants again. 2011 was the Cardinals. 2010 was the Giants. 2009 we're back to the Yankees.
The fact is you need top end talent to win championships, and as good as the Tampa Bay Rays were, and they are, and they're a very scrappy team, and they have great talent. And Jeff knows. Do you think the Red Sox are winning a championship this year?
Hell no.
Okay.
This team is dude, they're not. No, hold on. But that wasn't your argument.
I'm just with the players that they have. Do you think they're winning the championship?
No, that pitching staff stinks.
If Chris Sale can come back, don't count that out though.
Dude, that pitching staff is way out kicking their coverage right now.
I understand that, but if Chris Sale comes back and he's even half as good as he was, don't knock that. It's a possibility.
No, listen, that would be an upgrade because I want Eduardo Perez on the first thing smoking out of town. I don't care. Plane, train, bus, car, don't care.
Just put him in the canal.
Dude, I don't care. You could get that kid Bailey.
Boston Tea Party. You put him on a boat and
dude,
the British are coming.
Care. I want Belichick to get the punter to kick him out of the stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. Like, the team stinks. But it was fun watching the Yankees pay Ottavino to beat them this last weekend.
Yeah. Well, that's just Brian Cashman's completely lost touch.
Who is this Sam Buck? Okay, Brock, whatever his name is. Who is this guy, dude? If you want to call the show and you got something smart to say, call the show. Okay, don't hide behind a damn little text.
Don't fall for this trap.
Okay, call the show because you sound ridiculously stupid.
You're falling for his trap.
Sam guy is. Don't fall for that trap.
Speaking of Sam,
you sound stupid.
I'll read some of the other comments. Jeff, you said sweep twice. Carl said the Stankies.
Every single take he has said is stupid.
I'm curious now, though. Who do you blame this on?
Hold on, Tyler. Before we get together, we're going to just read some of the comments.
No, I know, but I'm curious, out of my own curiosity, who? If it's not Aaron Boone's fault, it's not Brian Cashman's fault. Whose fault is it?
He's a good man. Lyle, you could say he's a good man, and I'm sure he is a good man.
I know I'm a good man.
I'm not saying he's not a good man. He's stupid takes. Terrible, stupid. You're gonna trade away. You're gonna trade away your whole future for one player. Yeah, that's a great take. And now you're saying this stupid, dumb.
Carl says the Stankies. Errol said
I'm not saying he's a good man. He probably is a great man. I don't know.
I mean, he's a good dude.
I'm not saying that he isn't. His takes are
Why
stupid.
is everyone so sensitive?
I love it. Snug loves him.
Why are we so sensitive?
I'm not saying that he's not a. By the way, Lyle's saying he's a great family man. I'm sure he is. That's great. They're stupid takes. They're stupid.
Carl says the Stankies. Errol said this past week was important because they were playing bad teams, a miserable stretch. Snug says the Yankees are a 4A team, not terrible, but definitely not good enough to win a World Series. Lyle says 100% because of the spider tack for why he's not performing. Snug says, a plummeting spin rate seems to be affecting Cole quite a bit. Lyle says he's going back to his Pittsburgh days. Ben says the Brewers are the hottest team in baseball, 8-game win streak, 9-1 in the last 10. Sam says because baseball isn't played the right way anymore. Bunts, what's a bunt? Lyle says the Nationals say hi. Yeah, he had a 4+ ERA prior to Houston. Houston would never cheat. Oh, yeah, okay. Carl says lots of spider tack on the Brew Crew, at least up until this past week. Snug says the Yankees should have fired him after the second Red Sox sweep. Ben says Nationals are 8 games back. Go look back again. I think Baez goes to the Yankees. Sam says
what?
Sam says it's the New York Yankees, and there's no salary cap selling in question marks.
Austin Tybomb, I missed you, man.
Snug says nobody wants a broken down Stanton who can't stay on the field and has a huge contract. Charles says
what do you mean he's broken down? All right, this unfair notion of Stanton needs to stop. I don't know why.
I agree with you, by the way. I agree with you.
That's a load of horse crap. Stanton is a top 20 player when he's out. What?
Yeah, Jeff.
The problem with the Yankees has been the same problem with the Yankees for years.
And I know where he's going with this, and I would agree with
that people refuse to acknowledge. A, they've spent all their money on position players and not pitching. Oh, just because you paid one guy in Garrett Cole doesn't mean you have a pitching staff.
Right.
So get over that. Like, you got to pay more pitchers. And I don't know. How about getting a left-handed batter?
I agree with you.
So that last week, they don't take advantage of that short porch in right field. I don't understand how you have every single road team come into that place and take advantage of it like Ohtani did this week. Yet there's not one left-handed bat in that lineup. That's who in that lineup is left-handed?
Have left-handed.
But I say besides like Brett Gardner. Who even in that lineup is left-handed? Like, if you're Brian Cashman, shame on you for not taking advantage of something you.
Brian Cashman's a moron. He's an idiot.
Listen. I think.
How could you say somebody's a moron for almost 30 years?
I think the game has passed him by.
Gene Michael built the Yankee dynasty that we know. Okay, let's get over that. George Steinbrenner ran the team until about 2008 when they went to back-to-back World Series, right? Okay, they lost to Philly. Then they went back to C.C. Burnett and Teixeira came in. Then they beat Philly. And now he hasn't done anything since.
Brian Cashman, first of all, Gene Michael didn't build that whole team, okay?
He built the first. He brought in Bernie. He brought in O'Neill.
The first championship in '96. That's about it. All the other players that they brought in and their transition. By the way, first of all, the idea of bringing Paul O'Neill in for the whole Roberto Kelly, that was Brian Cashman, okay? So if you know anything about the Yankees, Brian Cashman,
the general manager was Michael.
Brian Cashman was the assistant GM. He was the one that wanted to make that trade. If you know anything about that. And by the way, Tino Martinez, when they brought him in, Tino Martinez was also, by the way, another Brian Cashman guy. So
and John Wetland was a guy. So what are we doing here?
Now, you say that the league has passed him by. I guarantee you that if the Yankees decide to part ways with Brian Cashman, they will be tens of every single team lining up within 5 minutes asking Brian Cashman.
Goodbye. You want a ticket to the city to go to? Goodbye. So long.
Okay. I'm telling you right now, Brian Cashman goes somewhere
Look
else.
at who he's whiffed on. Patrick Corbin. Oh, I don't know. A big piece to the whole national run they just had. Right? He whiffed on him. They whiffed on a bunch of relievers. That bullpen's atrocious. Outside Aroldis Chapman, they're all a bunch of...
And even Chapman lately, Tyler. Chapman hasn't looked good the last few weeks.
Oh, here's Mr. Homer. He's back. He's back.
Who?
How does that correlate with that? But okay.
It doesn't correlate with it.
I was waiting for him to say something.
What about Chapman?
First of all, the Yankees have had a top 5 bullpen practically forever. The last year and a half, their bullpen hasn't been good. So everybody is taking them down and blaming Brian Cashman. Meanwhile, Brian Cashman is one of the reasons why their bullpen has been amongst the league's best.
Yeah.
So
but it hasn't.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, it hasn't won, but also at the same time.
Miller.
Is it his fault that Britton started the season on the IL or the DL, whatever the freaking they call it? And he hasn't been the same since he's come back from injury. Okay, it's not his fault.
We told you to leave D-Rob here and get rid of Britton, but no one wanted to listen.
Yeah, he's been hurt too.
No, I get it, but David Robertson proved he can pitch in New York. Zach Britton had a great 3 months, and now look where we are.
Listen, it's a hit or miss when it comes to relief pitchers.
Right, and we've missed consistently now.
It doesn't matter. If you look at his track record.
I hate to tell you, but it does matter because you're 4th in your own division.
Well, let me ask
and
you
your manager's a moron.
Let me ask you a question. The manager, that's fine. You could say the manager's a moron. He's going to be gone next year. So what
he should be gone before the season started.
Here, Tyler. It's a joke. You can't sit there and tell me before.
I just did. He should be fired.
Because of COVID-19, they had back-to-back years with 100 wins, and there's only one manager in baseball in the last ever in 100 years that have done that. Okay.
So you take out the handicap games of the Tigers, and the Orioles and the Blue Jays because they were a joke for half that time. Okay, then you take out the Mariners and the Rangers
in front of you.
Right, you play who you get in front of you. So when you go to the playoffs, when teams are actually good with capable managers like Kevin Cash.
Kevin Cash.
He played Kevin Cash.
Kevin Cash, the same guy that lost the championship for Tampa last year. Yeah, Kevin Cash.
He beat the Yankees.
And what did he do in the World Series?
He made the World Series.
And he lost it.
Kevin Cash has been to 1 World Series. Aaron Boone's been to 0. 1 beat 0.
Kevin
That's
Cash,
what math told us in what? Kindergarten?
It's called winning.
I don't know about that anymore. That might be nursery now with Common Core.
It's called winning championships. And Kevin Cash was the reason why Tampa didn't win.
And Aaron Boone's the reason the Yankees won't make the playoffs.
Kevin Cash.
And Brian Cash.
About that.
If Kevin Cash got fired tomorrow, there'd be tens of teams that will line up to take his job.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Without question.
Okay.
And one of them would be the New York Yankees.
I doubt it.
Oh, I don't.
He's
a genius.
He's
absolutely. I tell you what, they're all analytical. The Yankees,
the best manager in baseball.
He's never.
They're all the analytics.
Best manager in baseball.
Alex
Kevin Cash would fit right in.
Kevin Cash.
The guy that got suspended for cheating.
Yep.
That guy.
Yeah.
You've
Lowers
lost
his mic a little bit because he's blowing my ears out.
You've lost it. You've actually lost
blowing
it.
my ears out.
Has he smacked his head on the wall?
I don't know, but the wall's pretty far back.
I don't know. I don't know what he does.
If you think Kevin Cash is the best manager in baseball, you're a drunk. Okay?
Name a better one.
I just told you one. Alex Cora has been he's been better coming back this year for the Red Sox than Kevin Cash has. Oh my God. Oh my God.
The guy that got cheating.
Tell me
sign stealing.
Tell me
is a better manager than the guy that just went to a World Series.
Tell me the big superstar right now on the Boston Red Sox.
Rafael Devers.
You're saying Devers is a superstar?
Or Alexander Bogaerts. They're both really great players.
Bogaerts is a good player. He's not a superstar. He's not.
JD Martinez.
Oh, yes. J.D. Martinez. Yes.
I wouldn't say J.D. Martinez is a superstar either. He's a great player. He's not a superstar. He's not.
Well, the Yankees have like 5, and we still suck. So what's the point?
Alex,
who's the superstar on Tampa Bay?
Devers and Bogaerts.
Austin Meadows, Brandon Lowe, they both stink right now.
Well, I want to get off of baseball because we don't have time.
Actually, they traded their superstar.
Who are you talking about?
They traded Blake
Tampa.
Snell.
And he stinks now, by the way, in San Diego. He's having a bad
He
year.
does stink now, and that's why Tampa Bay is great.
Look what happened with Chris Archer. They did the same thing with Chris Archer. All of them.
They're great. They're great. They're a superstar team that hasn't won anything. So
they don't have superstars.
They're a superstar.
They also have one of the lowest.
You want to know what? Like this is your bitterness is showing, right? Because the Yankees have all the superstars in the world, and why is it the team without the superstars is in?
Why is it? Why?
To the win?
Because their manager actually has an IQ above 10.
Are you talking to me, or are you talking to Tyler? Because
I'm talking to you.
My bitterness to the Yankees. I didn't think the Yankees were going to win this year. How many times do I have to tell you, morons? I didn't think the Yankees were any good this year. Do you want me to say it again? The Yankees aren't good. They weren't even going to make the playoffs. I didn't even think the Yankees were going to make the playoffs. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? When we made our picks this year, when you made the picks this year, I didn't even think the Yankees were going to win the division. So what are you talking about? So I don't know why you guys think anything of what I'm saying. The Yankees weren't good this year. I didn't think they were any good this year. And I think that they had so many deficiencies in their roster and their pitching staff, which, by the way, they lost 2 of their top pitchers to one of them who decided to go to Japan and another player.
That's because the Yankees didn't want to pay him.
It doesn't matter. They don't have him anymore. It doesn't matter. He didn't make the playoffs.
I hated that
He
move.
really could have been brought back.
He didn't
He
pitch well
was
in the
your
playoffs.
second best pitcher.
He didn't pitch well in the playoffs, and the Yankees decided to move up past that, and they thought it was done.
Well,
what's
dumb.
he doing in Japan right now?
I have no idea. Okay. It's a completely different sport
That's
over there.
all right.
It's like cricket over there.
Don't
It doesn't matter.
Don't say I'm bitter because I have already said that the Yankees need. I even said this: the Yankees should trade off pieces and rebuild. But I'm saying I'm bitter. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not bitter on anything. I'm telling you that the Yankees need to move on. They need to get rid of the pieces that I think that they should move on with. And then next year, re-up on whatever they decide to do. If they want to bring in Jason Dominguez next year, if he hits well at spring training, bring him in.
And where's Devi Garcia?
What do you mean? Devi Garcia, I don't know. I don't know what's
Where
going on.
Where'd he
with
go?
him. He's
21
because he's trash in the majors. Aaron Boone ruined him.
Ruined him? The Yankees
Aaron Boone took him out after 1 inning after he pitched a great 1 inning, and then he said, all right, you're done.
The guy can't miss. 5-tool prospect. He's great. Where'd he go? He's a ghost now. His value is 0. I could trade Speedy right now and get the same return that Estevan Florial. Aaron Boone is a moron. Brian Cashman is a bigger moron. And I'm jetting out of this set. I'm done.
Brian Cashman is not a moron.
Brian Cashman is
he hasn't been good the last few years.
I'd say the last decade, Brian Cashman strictly on hyperload.
If you think not good is making the playoffs almost every single year and having a winning record, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
That's fine, but the deficiencies are right there. When you have a short porch, hold on.
It is not easy to win championships in baseball.
I get that.
Again,
when you have a short porch in right field and you don't take advantage of the biggest asset that you have, it's a big problem.
You have
your best left-handed hitter. That's an issue.
You have 2 of the best power hitters in baseball. It's not any of those guys' faults, that especially Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone, that they're not hitting in certain aspects.
But that's also fine. But also go look at that lineup. Other than DJ LeMahieu, who's a gap-to-gap hitter on this team? Who's the guy that hits?
Are we gonna sit here and keep talking about Brian?
Trade Judge and move on.
You're out of your mind.
Why?
You're gonna trade Aaron Judge?
Yes.
You don't even want you. You don't even.
You're not going to trade. First of all, I never said I didn't want him. I said that the Yankees might not decide to keep him because they have to pay They pay John Carlos Stanton, and they got to decide on what they're going to do. Now they have two $300 million players, and Garrett Cole and John Carlos. What are they going to add another $300 million player? If they're going to do that, they're going to have to make a decision on what they're doing with this team and restructuring the team moving forward at the trade deadline. That's what I'm saying. He's not making $300 million.
The Red Sox made a smart move. They took advantage of this short portion right there. They signed David Ortiz.
No way. Aaron Judge is going to get a 6 or 7 year deal at most.
$200-something million.
He'll probably get 180.
He might get less.
180, 100.
Corner outfielders are not being paid as much.
180, 190.
Oh, you mean how Bryce Harper just broke them? Are you guys on drugs?
Bryce Harper
just
before
signed
COVID.
15 years.
Before COVID,
Bryce Harper's a lefty for one, and also Bryce Harper
before COVID or after
you say
COVID.
Corner outfielders, don't change.
Before COVID, after COVID.
That's a ridiculous argument. Using Bryce Harper as the example is ridiculous.
What do you mean? He just signed the contract.
They paid him.
Mike Trout just signed his contract.
Oh, you can't compare Judge to those guys. Come on, Tyler, not the Trout.
In part because of their age. Aaron Judge approaching 30 is not going to get the same thing. He might get the same thing like the average annual value. It might get the 30, 35 years like that.
So you're paying him $40 million a year when he might not play 100-something games? You're okay with that?
No. I'm not
paying him.
But no, right. But
I'm trading him.
That's fair. That's fine. But saying that he's going to get like the same contract, he's not going to get $200-300 million because they're not going to give him 8 years or 9 years at that dollar.
The Yankees paid A-Rod at 33, 10 years, $200-something million, which was above the value of that term market. Now you look at the market, which is more. Don't tell me they're not going to pay him. They're going to pay him.
Because steroids are still a thing.
Okay, that's great. And the Yankees are still doing the same thing they were doing then. Okay. So don't tell me they're not going to overpay. The Yankees overpaid for their homegrown talent.
All right, let's finish up with some football. Okay, I knew that was going to take a little bit long with that segment, and it's fine. Everybody has their own opinion towards it.
Aaron Boone a moron.
Oh, you said it quite a few times. I mean, I've heard it enough. All right, and it's fine. That's your opinion. Anyways. And by the way, Cashman will be staying with the Yankees. I can guarantee
fine.
you.
Fire the other moron.
They probably are. But anyways, let's finish up with some football conversation. To me, everybody keeps talking about this. Morgan Moses, and everybody loves it. A lot of Jet fans are jumping for joy with this. I want to see what Morgan Moses. Remember, Morgan Moses this offseason has not been practicing, not really doing non-mandatory OTAs. He's now stepping on I think he hasn't even stepped on the field yet with the Jets. He's probably going to start next week. To me, my question is, everybody keeps talking about how much money the Jets are going to have next year in the offseason. They're going to have $72 million. They also have 11 draft picks, and they're saying 4 is in a top 2, which is a significant amount, and it's a lot of trade. It's a lot of trade room for somebody like Joe Douglas in the offseason, especially if this year moves very well for the Jets, rebuilding the offensive line, adding structure to the offense, which they have not had in probably 30 years. You moving forward with the Jets, a lot of Jet fans are excited with Morgan Moses. Now, Morgan Moses signed a 1-year deal with the Jets. All right. We don't know, even if he has a good season with the Jets, he could just be using the Jets because of the way the Jets have structured their offensive line to place himself in a position where he can make a lot of money next year if he has a good season on a very good young offensive line. Now, I don't know what the Jets are doing with the right side of the line. They're saying that Moses will be the right tackle. Some people are saying that they might move him to the guard and move Font there as a starting right tackle. I don't know where they're going. So right now the structure is the Jets are in position. Their offensive line is going to be a lot better. We all know that. Are they going to stay healthy? Now, last 2 seasons, as Morgan Moses stayed healthy, the answer is no. Okay. With Mekhi Beckham, he looked really, really good when he was playing last year. How many games did he play last year? He played 11 games. There's 17 games this year. There's a game added on to the structure this year. You bring in Elijah Vera Tucker. He's a young player. Everybody's comparing his skills to Quentin Nelson, which is great. He's mean. He's abrupt. He's a great run guy. He's great. We don't know what he is, okay? And McGovern, he couldn't stay healthy last year, and he's just starting center. So already going into the season, as much as everybody says, wow, look at what the Jets have done in the offensive line, you still say, is this line going to stay healthy? Now, they've added some good players to come off the bench to fill in. Now, they added Freeney. He's a good player. He comes from the Chargers. Is he a great player? No. He's a good player. He's a good fill-in player. They have players on the bench. They have definitely depth that the Jets have not had over the years. Now they talk about the wide receiving core. Corey Davis, okay? I love the move, and it was a very good contract for the Jets. If you look at Corey Davis to top number ones, they got a bargain for Corey. Is Corey Davis a number one? That's going to be the question that Corey Davis says he's going to answer this year. Let's see him do it, okay? Elijah Moore. I think a lot of people are talking about how great he looks, and that's great. We also heard that about Odell Beckham when he came to the Giants in his OTAs and stuff like that. Odell Beckham couldn't stay healthy, and he missed almost 5 games before he made that unbelievable catch with the Cowboys. By the way, Odell Beckham, what has he done in the last couple of years? Oh, he hasn't stayed healthy. So a top 10 receiver? No, he's not. He's not even close, okay? So that we're going to Elijah Moore. Now, we talk about the other wide receivers. Jamison Crowder. I think it was a great bargain to bring in to renegotiate his deal. I think Jamison wanted to stay here with the Jets because he wants to prove himself. He's 28 years old. He can get a lot of money next year again and re-up somewhere else. Jamison Crowder, in the last 2 years for the Jets, has been their best wide receiver. And then you look at Denzel Mims. He's moved down to the second team. I think he's still a good player. I think he's going to be a big part of the Jets offense moving forward. He still needs to learn offense. They bring in another guy. What's his name? Keelan Cole, who looks good right now. We don't know what he's going to do. We don't know if he can stay healthy 100% this year. And we don't know. He only signed a 1-year deal. He only signed a $5 million deal. He's probably gone next year too. So there's so many things that the two big things that the Jet people have talked about with the Jets, their offensive line and the wide receiving core. That's great. There's so many what ifs with the Jets. Now, I've read a lot of things that the Jets are the most improved team in the NFL. It's great. Prove it on the field. Now, Zach Wilson, I listened to Mike Greenberg's take, and it was a great take. Everybody says that this with Zach Wilson and that was Zach Wilson, and we're taking shots at Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's put in a very good position than Sam Darnold was. They put him in a very good position. They built an offensive line, and they put weapons around him. Prove it. Get on the field. And he's a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. This is his rookie year. I want to see bright things more than less bright things. Let's see him do it when it comes down to the big game. Okay? Now, what Greenberg said, he said, the quarterback out of all these quarterbacks are put in a really bad position is who? Who did he say? Does anybody know?
I didn't hear it.
The number 1 pick. Who did they say?
Trevor Lawrence.
Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has been put with Urban Meyer, but by the way, brought in Tebow, which by the way, made his draft was horrendous. A lot of people, they graded him a C+. It graded Urban Meyer's first draft a C+. And in the free agency market where everybody thought they had all the money in the world, they spent a lot of money this offseason, almost $97 million. And who did they bring in? Who was their big free agent?
Oh, the overpaid Shaq Griffin.
Okay, so they're saying that Trevor Lawrence, out of all these quarterbacks, Mac Jones is put in a good position because he has got Bill Belichick. Obviously, what's his name again? Who went to San Francisco?
Trey Lance.
He's put in a good position because San Francisco is very talented. And if what's his name again? Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo isn't the guy that he's going to be put in position that he could be he's going to be a successor. Mm-hmm. And they're saying out of all the quarterbacks, and Greenberg made a lot of good points. He said out of all the quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence is put in a bad position to fail right off the bat. Now, I look at this offseason. It's been a very interesting offseason. There's still a lot left. OTAs haven't really fully started. I think it starts in the next 20 days. And then we're going to really see, because a preseason starts, in about a month and a half, 2 months. So it's going to start very, very quick. We're going to see a lot of things that are going to happen. First, Tyler, I haven't spoken to you about football.
Oh, dear God.
There was a lot of crazy, stupid takes over the last few years. You just said one. Odell Beckham's a top 10 wide receiver. He hasn't been a top
time frame he was in New York.
He
Yeah,
hasn't been a top 10 wide receiver in 3 years.
No, that's what he said. He said, "What did you do in the time frame?" I said he was a top 10 receiver.
Is he a top 10 wide receiver in the last 3 years?
When he's healthy, yes.
Has he been a top 10
when he's on
wide
the
receiver?
field? Yes.
That's not my question, Tyler. Has he been a top 10 wide receiver in the last 3 years?
When he's been healthy.
That's
yes.
not
That's
the question. Yes or no? Yes or no? No, he hasn't
judge
been.
Players when they're
Speedy, has he been?
In the small sample size, yeah, but Tyler, health does matter.
I understand health matters.
You're telling me Odell Beckham has been a top 10 wide receiver in the last 3 years? Yes or no, Speedy?
In the amount of games?
No. Has he been a top 10 wide receiver in numbers? Yes or no?
Production-wise, no, because he hasn't played.
That's it. Done. Shut up. Now, Josh,
weapons around him.
Josh, how about you? Do you think Odell Beckham's been a top 10 wide receiver in the last 3 seasons?
If he's healthy, then yes.
Thank you, Josh. It's been a pleasure.
In numbers, yes or no?
Let me ask
numbers wise, then yes, of course. But if he has, it's all about health, isn't that what the name of the game is?
Here's the name of the game. When I'm asking you what numbers, and you look at the top 10 wide receivers that we've seen in the last 3 years, has he been in the top 10, rated in the top 10? Yes or no? Yes or no? No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. Josh, you're on drugs too. What are you smoking tonight? Maybe I should just shut you down. It's stupid. It's dumb. Go look at his numbers in the last 3 years. He hasn't been in the top 10. It's not even close. It's stupid. Dumb. You're done.
Well,
wait a minute. Hold on. He was just on.
Whatever.
Did Cleveland lead the league in rushing, or were they second?
They were second.
Odell Beckham has not been a top 10 wide receiver in 3 years. And numbers show that. And those are facts. Go look.
Well, he also hasn't been healthy in the last 3 years.
Again, that has nothing to do with the question.
I didn't say he played in one game last year.
I didn't say because of health. I asked.
But I'm dumb. I forgot.
On numbers, on what we've seen with numbers in the last 3 seasons, how many times do I have to say, has he been a top 10 wide receiver? Yes or no? Numbers, yes or no? The answer is no. And that's all you got to say. No, I didn't ask because of injury. I didn't ask about snaps. I'm talking about numbers. And no, he has not been. And that's all I asked of you. Okay, that's all I asked of you. I don't care about what his talent is, what he's done over the years, what if he's in the roster, on the roster, what he's done. I didn't ask you that. I asked you in the top 10 when it comes to numbers in the last 3 seasons, has he been a top 10 player, top 10 receiver? He hasn't been. That's all I asked you. I didn't ask you, well, his talent shows that he is. And when he does play, he is. That's not what I asked you.
All you have to do is go back to the Dallas game last year. That's all you have to do. That game alone showed he's a top 10 wide receiver.
I wouldn't judge using the Dallas secondary as a good basis of that, though, too.
No,
that secondary is horrible. Sam Brooks says Corey Davis is a number 2 wide receiver. Carl says, pick out some baby onesies, Josh. Errol rolling again. Stark says, maybe Josh starts taking a sandwich and a dessert break as well. Maybe a blizzard or some donuts. Stark says, I wonder if Zach Wilson will be able to see ghosts by the end of the season. Lyle says, well, that was quick, already close to football season. Sam says, best thing that happened to Zach Wilson was the firing of Adam Gase. Lyle says, name of the game is football. Snug says, the OBJ argument is the same as the Stanton argument. Injuries weren't a concern for Stanton's ranking, so the same for OBJ. Lyle says, Errol's big mad. Snug said that.
Oh, Snug's the cat. I love you, man.
And Sam says, stop talking about Odell. He's a has-been.
Who says a has-been?
Sam Brook. Snug also says, I can hear the beef
what
screaming
Errol
at the
Marsh says
show.
you are. You're a doofus.
I didn't say he was a doofus. I said
I'm
stupid
saying
takes.
he's a doofus.
I said he was stupid takes.
The same shit. Stupid take. There, I got one on the board. Can we keep track of how many times trying to keep it under 5.
Snug says, I can hear the beef screaming at the show.
No, well, that's because we mentioned the Cowboys. Cowboys.
Yes, they do have the worst
Super Bowl
secondary in
Cowboys.
football, Snug. Or beef. They do.
Mike Guido just flipped his hair.
Yeah.
I would
All
hope
right,
he
so
knows
what is
they
your
were-
what is your takes with this this off season as far as what you've seen?
I gotta be honest with you. This NFL offseason was very strange. Very, very strange. I think the NFC West has more than completely become if whoever wins that conference we gotta be the favorite to win the Super Bowl. They have to be. And I think the Arizona Cardinals are more than equipped to do it.
By the way, by numbers last year, Odell Beckham was 22nd in the league. Just so everybody knows.
In what?
Numbers. NFL wide receiving
number?
numbers. He's ranked 22nd in numbers last year.
But there is
Not surprising.
There's no way he's second in receiving yards,
22nd.
catches, and touchdowns.
That's all I'm saying. 22nd. Go ahead.
I want to know the
Go ahead.
stat.
I'm just telling you 22nd. Let's go. Go into your take. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I want to know the stat that he's 22nd.
I'm just telling you what I've looked at.
No, but I want to know the stat.
Oh my
God. Oh my God.
Go back into what you were saying, please.
So I think the Arizona Cardinals probably have the best. They have the best pass rush in the league right now with just Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt. How the league let that happen is mind-boggling to me. I agree with you. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to get killed in Jacksonville. I do think Tim Tebow, though, and everyone's going to laugh when I say that, I think Tim Tebow will have a solid season. And
what do you classify as a solid season?
I think he'll have 2 touchdowns.
30
generous even.
yards, 2-3 touchdowns.
Okay.
As a backup tight end, I think that's more than suffice. I don't know.
He'll score the first touchdown for Trevor Lawrence in his career.
That would be funny.
You know what?
Wouldn't that be
I
something?
bet you Tim Tebow has a passing touchdown before Trevor Lawrence does.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Urban Meyer brought him there for a reason.
Wow.
And it's not to look pretty impressive. Anyway.
Wildcat goal line sets.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Or James Robinson, but either one. But I don't think I know what Errol's waiting for. The Jets will probably finish second.
I'm just looking at Odell Beckham's numbers in 2019 too.
Calm down. I know. What I'm saying is I think the Jets can finish.
He was 28th in wide receiving yards and everything in 2019.
And that's the year he
I'm just saying
6 games.
No, he
7
played
games.
Actually he played 16 games.
He played 16 games.
Yes.
In 2019.
2019.
As a member
games.
of
the Cleveland Browns. He played 16 games. He had 74 receptions, 1,035, and he had 4 touchdowns.
Splitting time with Jarvis Landry.
He had 74 receptions, which is a lot. So I'm just telling
74
you.
receptions is a lot, and he still splits it with Jarvis Landry.
Again, I'm just giving. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just
so
looking
when
at
Julio
numbers.
Jones's numbers plummet this year.
Listen, that's
because
not my
he's
question.
Playing with AJ Brown, he's not a top 10 wide receiver anymore.
I just said when he.
I'm just asking a question.
What
yes
we have seen with his numbers,
in the words of our
in the
yes
last 3
no?
years, he has not been a top 10 wide receiver.
No, he says yes or no, Tara. Then he says like stupid and you're dumb or something.
I know what it means. I've worked with Errol long enough to know when he's saying yes or no. That means he knows what the answer is, and he wants you to answer it so he can move on.
Damn right.
Yes
Damn
or no?
What was the question?
When Julio Jones doesn't have Julio Jones numbers because he's playing with Derrick Henry and AJ Brown, will he still be a top 10 wide receiver?
No.
You're crazy.
He's not.
You're insane.
He's not.
You're insane.
No.
So anyway, yeah, that's how this goes. I think the Jets finish second or third. The Patriots will finish second or third, depending on where the Jets finish. But the Buffalo Bills are, I think the Bills, I think, will win the AFC, and then I think the Cardinals will win the NFC, and then the Cardinals will win the Super Bowl.
Too great. That would be great. That's Super Bowl. Cardinals Bills.
Snug says, I have it on good authority that with Dak Prescott's leg no longer backwards, the Cowboys will win at least 3 Super Bowls in a row behind Zeke, Barry, Elliott. Sam says, Jets finishing second or third in the division. LOL, did I hear that correctly? Laughable. Lyle says, I could picture them finishing third, Fish fourth, and then Lyle gives his standings. Bills, Pats, Jets, Fish. And then Sam says the Jets will be lucky to win 4 or 5 games.
And Odell Beckham, obviously in 2018, wasn't even in top 100 in wide receiving court. So,
oh my God! How many games he played in 2018?
I'm just telling. Again, you're going to hear me again. I didn't care how many games
top
or
100,
injury.
Clearly, there's
that's
something
not
wrong.
What my question was. The question was, numbers show the top wide receivers in the league. Was he in the last 3 years? Was he a top 10 wide receiver as numbers? The answer is no.
If Corey
That's
Davis,
it.
If Corey Davis
That's
gives
it.
you 75 catches and 1,100 yards, are you happy?
What happened?
If Corey Davis gives you 75 catches and 1,100
That's Corey
yards,
Davis. It's not Odell Beckham.
Odell's more talented than Corey Davis.
Nobody said that he wasn't.
Odell Beckham Jr. talent-wise is a top 10 receiver in football.
No,
I'm not arguing
nobody,
with you.
Nobody,
that's a fact, Jack.
Nobody,
I'm not arguing with
nobody is going to argue his talent,
hold on.
but he hasn't been a top 10 wide receiver in the last 3 years with his numbers, and that is a fact, Jack. Okay, So
yeah, Jack times 2.
That's great to know. I'm glad. That's great.
That's great. Like third wheels tonight.
Third.
Like third wheels.
Oh, buddy.
Talent can only get you so far. Okay.
What?
Talent can only get you so far. It's true, especially in football. Especially in
what that
football.
means.
Especially in football.
That's what talent is based on.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So you're
The
telling
best
me,
running back in football, you're going to tell me isn't top 10 because he played 2 games last year.
so you're telling me that Tom Brady is the most talented quarterback in the NFL the last 20 years?
He's the
yes
best
or no?
quarterback in
No.
the NFL the past
That's
20
not the
years.
question. Do you think Tom Brady in the last 20 years is the most talented quarterback in the NFL?
Yes.
You're out of your mind. You're on drugs.
Who's more talented than Tom Brady?
Talent-wise, all-around talent, Aaron Rodgers.
Stop.
He is.
Stop it
He
now.
could do everything.
He can't even win a home playoff game.
That's
Get out
not,
of here.
That's
ridiculous.
Do you know what talent is? You just mentioned talent.
Talent is being able to win a football game.
That's not talent.
Yes, numbnuts. That's exactly what talent's
Let's define talent. Speedy, go look at the word talent, okay? Let's listen to the word definition.
Well, I don't think we have to do that.
Because that's not what talent means.
No, we do.
Talent
a guy that won 7 Super Bowls in 20 years is less
What
talented
is-
than a
okay.
guy that's won 1.
The dictionary.com definition: natural aptitude or skill
Mm-hmm.
is just simply what it is.
Mhm.
And then the second one's a former weight or unit, so that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. But
So-
natural aptitude or skill is the
yeah,
judgment.
Yeah, and that's Tom Brady. Yeah, that's
Yes.
great. You're on
Yes.
drugs. You're on drugs.
I told you I stopped
Tom
doing
Brady. Tom Brady is as good as he is because he's one of the smartest quarterbacks of all time.
That's a skill.
Wait a second. So being smart is a skill.
Joe Montana wasn't
Being
skilled. He
smart
was
is a
smart.
skill.
You think he's the GOAT. Go ahead, contradict yourself. I beg
what
you.
he is. He's.
And
I
what
believe
was
he's
his
the GOAT.
biggest skill?
What is his biggest skill? Accuracy. That's what he was. His
Oh,
biggest skill was.
God.
He was one of the most
Accuracy?
accurate. Yes, he was one of the most accurate quarterbacks of all time.
So then Drew Brees is the GOAT.
What are
Because
you
Drew
talking
Brees
about?
is the most accurate quarterback
But
of all time.
you asked me what I thought that
Joe Montana's brain is what got him that far.
Everybody, you have to be a good quarterback. If you don't have a good brain, you're not going to be a good quarterback. You got to understand and read
So
offenses
therefore,
and
it's a
defense.
skill.
Come on, Tyler, you're ridiculous. You're telling me that
Peyton Manning's top
You
5
do-
all time
you're telling me-
because he outsmarted teams.
So you're telling me that Aaron Rodgers, who's good inside and out of the pocket, doesn't have more talent than Tom Brady?
He's as dumb as bricks.
Okay. Oh yeah, he's dumb. Oh yeah, he's real dumb.
He is dumb.
He is dumb.
That's why
Okay.
instead of running for a first down, he threw it away and he lost.
That's why he's had one top 10 wide receiver on his roster, and the rest of the guys are not even in the top 100. What are you on drugs? You sound
Devontae
stupid.
Adams is not.
Devontae Adams is the only one.
And then he had Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb for
Jordy-
years.
what did
playing
Jordy-
at the same
and-
time,
and
though, all
what-
the
and what
time.
did Jordy Nelson do when he left?
No.
They got rid of him because he got hurt.
What did he do when he left? What did he do when he
The
left?
Raiders took him on scraps. Scraps.
That's
he
a
was
great,
over.
That was
he was
great.
done.
That's great. That's
but
great.
when Aaron Rodgers had
he
him,
was done.
he
Huh?
was there.
He was done, huh? He was done when he came back from his ACL injury. What did he do?
Pull up the numbers.
Go, you pull up the numbers.
I don't have a computer in front
Speedy,
of me,
you
guy.
pull up the numbers. You pull up the numbers, Speedy. This is ridiculous. We're arguing over something so stupid. Talent is that Tom Brady didn't win. He didn't
Who's
win
Tom
because
Brady's
of talent.
top 10 wide receiver all time?
What happened?
Who's Tom Brady had?
What are you? Are we going
He
back?
hasn't had.
Are we going back? What is this?
He hasn't
Anything
had Randall
to do-
Cobb.
No, wait,
He certainly doesn't have Devontae Adams.
2016, he had a nice year after the ACL injury. 97 catches, 1257, 14 touchdowns in 2016. Then he started to regress. 2017, 53, 42, and 6 touchdowns. And then
4,000
with the
yards,
Raiders, 63 catches, 73, 9,
double-digit
3
touchdown
touchdowns.
seasons. You're on drugs.
Yeah, you're on drugs. I just said that he had a great
No,
season.
Tyler said he's off drugs.
That's top 10 wide receiver.
You're out of your mind. Tyler, you sound dumb. Okay.
You just told me he
You
had
sound
none.
dumb.
I just gave you
sound dumb.
2. Tom Brady's had 0.
Tyler, I'm going to tell you right now, Tom Brady has had much more better talent around him than Aaron Rodgers has ever had.
You're
Much better.
insane.
I'm insane. I'm insane.
Outside Bill
I'm insane.
Belichick, not even
you're
close.
on drugs.
Not even close.
Tyler, he's had Gronkowski. He had Aaron Hernandez. Do we want to go on?
Aaron
Randy
Hernandez.
Moss. He had Randy
Aaron
Moss.
Hernandez.
Who did Aaron
Yeah, and
Rodgers
he
throw
didn't
to?
win with Randy Moss.
Oh, I'm sorry. Donald Driver. Oh, he's an all-time great.
Donald Driver was a very good wide receiver.
All-time great. Okay, Jordy Nelson, if you want to put him there. Is Jordy Nelson a Hall of Famer?
Tom Brady.
Is Jordy Nelson a Hall of Famer?
Outside of Gronk,
Okay.
has had
Tell
no
me,
Hall of Famer.
Speedy, how many Hall of Famers has Aaron Rodgers thrown to?
Maybe Donald Driver, but
He's not a Hall of Famer.
Greg Jennings was also a very good
Not
wide
a Hall of
receiver.
Famer. And by the way, Greg Jennings was Aaron Rodgers only played with Greg Jennings 1 year. And by the way, what did he do?
So Tom Brady only played with Randy Moss
Go
1
look
year.
at what Greg Jennings did his 1 or 2 years that he played with Aaron Rodgers.
Tom Brady literally had Randy Moss for 1 year, and you brought him up first.
And Greg Jennings did nothing after.
And Tom Brady broke every single record known to man.
Grant, Tom Brady has much more talent than Aaron Rodgers around him.
He has more talent, period.
Much.
Because his skills allow him to do so.
You're on drugs.
Because he's talented.
You're on drugs. You sound retarded.
Tom Brady is the quarterback of the century.
That's great. Nobody said that he wasn't. Nobody said that he wasn't.
Greg
does have more talent.
Greg Jennings had three straight 1,000-yard seasons with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers' first year as a starter, 2008, 80 catches, 1,292, 9 touchdowns. 2009, 68 for 1,113 yards,
That's
4
terrible.
touchdowns. And 2010 was his best year.
Let me ask you a
76
question, Speedy.
catches,
What is his career?
1265.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Greg
Is he
Jennings? No.
Okay. Is he a
Tom
Hall of
Brady
Famer?
had Gronk. That's the only Hall of Famer Brady's had.
You're out of your mind.
Who?
You're out of your mind. Randy
Who?
Moss? You forget about
Randy
him?
Moss, he didn't
Randy
do
Moss?
anything with. He had him for 16 games.
Oh, he didn't do. He broke
Get
a
over it.
record. He broke a record with Randy Moss.
Guess what?
No, he
The
didn't do
1 year
anything
he
with.
had a Hall of
He didn't
Famer,
do anything
he
with.
broke every
All right,
record he
Tyler,
ever
no more
had.
screaming. This is ridiculous. I'm not even arguing. Tom Brady has had much more talent around him than Aaron Rodgers had.
You're
It's
insane.
stupid. I'm insane.
You're
Aaron-
insane.
I've proven that Aaron Rodgers last year had one player in the top 10, and his other wide receivers weren't even in the top 70.
Okay. And Tom Brady just won a Super Bowl.
That's great. He had he had 2 top 10, top 15 wide receivers. Anybody he added Antonio Brown at the end of the season. Give me a break.
Antonio Brown didn't play football for 2 years.
He played. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He got cut by the Patriots.
Tyler, come
then he was
on.
unemployed because no one wanted
Tyler,
to touch him.
it's
Tom
stupid.
Brady begged Bruce Arians to give him a shot.
begged
And if anything happened,
okay.
it was Brady's ass.
Okay. You're
you know
out
what?
of your mind.
Leadership. Another skill Tom Brady doesn't have, right?
You sound ridiculous. Which
Skill.
is
Leadership.
again, your skilled leadership. First of all, talent is all around talent. Speed, understanding the game out of the pocket, inside and out of the pocket. Tom Brady is not a runner. He stays in the pocket
Most
and he makes
rushing
his
yards
plays.
for a 40-year-old player in NFL history, Tom Brady.
Aaron Rodgers, first of all, Aaron Hernandez was on his way to be a Hall of Famer. He absolutely was.
Well, too bad he wasn't going around
well, it
killing
doesn't
people.
matter. He was a Hall of Fame talent. Okay,
Yeah.
He's had much more talent around him. That's a fact. And you're going to tell me Aaron Rodgers has? That's ridiculous.
Aaron
it's
Rodgers
absolutely
has never had a
ridiculous.
good team.
Aaron Rodgers makes the team. He has the worst defenses of all time playing for him.
Drew Brees had that.
No,
Drew Brees had it too. Yeah, Drew Brees. had
not as bad as Aaron Rodgers.
The
Not as
Saints
bad
were
as Aaron
historically
Rodgers.
bad for like 3 years straight.
Aaron Rodgers had
I
the
don't wanna
worst defensive team in NFL history that he took all the way to the NFC title game. Okay, it's
And lost to
ridiculous.
who?
It doesn't matter. He lost. I don't know. He lost, and that's a fact. Anyways,
lost. He
we've
loses a
taken
lot
this
of
show
big
a
games.
little bit too long, and it went all the way to Tom Brady because, of course, Tyler wants to bring up Tom Brady. This story had
GOAT.
nothing to do with
The
Tom
greatest of
Brady.
all time.
Great, in your opinion.
Tom.
In your great opinion. That's your great
They
opinion.
they should do that.
Good. In
Change
your
the
opinion.
T into
Great.
GOAT to Tom, not Tom.
Great. The greatest football player of all time, Jerry Rice. Okay, so take
All
that
right,
to the
Wait,
bank.
so how is Joe Montana the GOAT at quarterback? Yeah, the greatest football player of all time.
4 Super Bowls, 4 championships. Done.
7 Super Bowls, 10 trips.
And
Done.
7 Super Bowls, 10 trips, and he lost 3 of them. And he's not undefeated. Why, when you talk about Michael Jordan and guys like LeBron James, you can't compare them because Michael Jordan is 6-0 in
I
a
agree with
championship.
you. Jordan's the GOAT.
Oh, so Jordan, you
We
agree?
agree.
Yeah, you also your ex-partner, and you were arguing.
My ex-partner's a moron.
Okay. I don't even want to get
ex-partner's
into
an
this.
idiot.
We're done on this.
All right, let me just run out with these comments.
I will not defend Mike Guido for LeBron James. Don't put that on me.
Lyle says Jets can get 7 or 8 wins with the schedule. He doesn't think Miami will be that good. Sam says, I just counted 11 losses on their schedule. How are you defining talent? We just did. Snug says, the definition will float as needed. Lyle says, I counted 7 wins, giving him both games versus Miami to them. Maybe pull out a win in a traffic game. Josh responds, I wouldn't go that far. Snug says, being smart is a talent.
Thank you.
Josh responds to Lyle, Miami also has a good coach. Sam says, Jamarcus Russell was more talented than Brady. How does his brain work
You're an
for
idiot.
him?
You're an idiot. Who
So-
said that?
Sam.
No, he's trying.
Moron.
Tyler. He's basically using the brain thing. Is when college, Jamarcus Russell did have more talent than Brady did in college, but he didn't use his brain. Low IQ. That's why he sucked.
Snug says Peyton Manning
yeah.
is not a
Thank you,
top
Sam.
5
Thank
all-time
you.
quarterback.
Before you jump in on the title.
Snug says Peyton Manning is not a top time all-time talent physically, but his brain is. Lyle says Josh looks so excited. LMAO. Sam says you probably think Kyler Murray is more talented than Tom Brady. Snug says in response to Josh, he's just hungry. He
All
needs a
around
sandwich
talent.
break.
All around talent. Yes, I
100%
do.
hungry, by the way.
Yes, I do.
Snug is so right.
By
By the way, really quick, Speedy, Snug says you have decals or something from Snug. I need one of those. For sure. 100%.
All right. Yeah. I did. That was the next comment. Waiting for my care packages.
Sorry.
Lyle making the joke that everyone's made before. Aaron Hernandez killed it in New England. Snug says, tell Speedy where our bakery is. He doesn't think there are any on Long Island. Lyle says, what? That's an old joke, Lyle. That's an old joke. Yeah, you responded by him. Snug said, it's so good to have Tyler back. He is almost always right. Lyle says, he lost 3 of them. He went from a sports show to a math class, LOL. And then Sam says, Kyler Murray is nothing until he proves it. Nothing.
There you go.
I'm glad I came back. This was good. This
Very
was swell.
nice. Anyways, that's it for the show. We will be back tomorrow. Remember, you can call us at 631-965-4990. You can go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Go to our app, iOS, WWSRN, or Android Worldwide Sports Radio Network. What were you saying, Tyler?
It's hot in here.
It is very hot. So
Pay the electric bill. You'll get air conditioning.
Oh. Sorry. I didn't know he was going to do that. It's really hot in here.
I'm teasing him.
When Errol throws you to a table, I'm not helping you.
no, there's no air conditioning in here because it's too loud and it will ruin the sound. That's why it's soundproof. You don't put an air conditioning in a sound thing. That's so much you guys know about soundproof studios.
See, you see what I mean? Like the joke. The joke.
Everything's a joke with you.
When everybody says to me, you're so quiet with certain arguments, every time I give an argument, I say I'm dumb and then I get to shut up. That's why
Your arguments are not arguments. It's just ridiculous. It was a ridiculous statement. It's not an argument. It's a ridiculous statement.
Lyle says, I did the show in 95 degrees yesterday. Suck it up.
He did. To be fair, Lyle was showed over 100 degrees yesterday.
Why?
Listen, buddy, I'm a guest here.
Because his fan,
5-degree weather.
Because his fan is too loud in his room. So he decided
you can't put on anything when it comes to
Anything,
a studio
not
and
even
sound
Yep.
because this room is absolutely soundproof.
Yep.
So you can't do it. If you do it, it's going to ruin the sound of the mics and everything like that, especially if they're condensing mics that are hooked up to a board. There's no way to muffle the sound.
No, yeah. That's why central air is always the best.
No, even central air, you still can hear it.
Really?
Yes.
Josh, you idiot.
Yes. Yes.
What'd you say, Tyler?
I said, Josh, you're being an idiot.
Well, oh, please. Welcome back, Tyler. So glad to have you aboard.
No. With if you're using, you're using a computer mic. If you're using condensing mics and you have central air, and I have had central air, it does still have a sound. You still hear it.
Interesting.
So it's very, very hard. If you go to a studio, WFAN, what WFAN does, WFAN has a door, their studio glass open. Why do you think when you hear Joe Beningo and Evan Roberts, when they used to do it, they open up the window? They've opened up the window because there is no no
fan or anything going in there for them.
No, because it would ruin the sound of the condensing mics that they use. So and I've been to the studios of WFAN. It's very poorly built. Even Boomer and Geo, they talk about it all the time. They talk about how hot it is up there in the studios. So it's hard to put something on where it can cancel out the sound of the mics. So that's why there is no AC in this particular room. There's an AC in the other room. I keep the door open and I try to air it out as much as I can so it doesn't have the sound.
It's still a very nice studio, though.
Oh, it is. It's hard.
That was a compliment to you, by the way.
Well, thank you.
No problem. See, I try.
I appreciate it.
I'm called dumb and stupid.
I have nothing against your friend Mr. Buck. What was his name? Sam Brock. I'm sorry. I listen. You used to get under your skin.
That's how he rolls.
I don't care.
If you knew him, that's how he rolls.
It doesn't matter. The fact is that I like people's opinions, and if there's some dumb takes, I'm gonna.
He lives in Maryland, so he's a.
So what do they know about anything?
Well, first off, he's a Baltimore Ravens fan, so I think they've had pretty good success.
Do you think Lamar Jackson's
he's from?
a top quarterback?
Is he from Baltimore?
Mm-hmm.
Does he think Lamar Jackson's a top end quarterback?
No.
Ask him.
I don't.
He'll probably say so.
I don't think he is.
Then he doesn't know.
I don't think he thinks that.
Lamar Jackson's not a top end.
I don't think.
Yes, but see, Tyler, you got to let somebody at least rebuttal it before you say he doesn't know football. See, no, Tyler, that's not right. You let somebody rebuttal it and give their opinion on it and give the reasons why. You don't just say no.
Be like, here's the deal, and then just stop talking for 15 minutes.
No, it's all about having a conversation. To just say somebody has an opinion and then they say they don't know football when they can't rebuttal their arguments are a different story.
And he's not.
No, I never said he wasn't. And first off, I never said Sam said that. I'm just saying what he might think.
I don't think Sam thinks that. I don't think he thinks.
He's an Orioles fan, he's a Capitals fan, and he's a Wizards fan. So he's had some pretty good success last few years with the Capitals and the Ravens.
All right, he responded. He said, I don't care about the rankings of the overall quarterbacks. It's about wins. Is he top 10 in terms of outcome? Of course.
He's right about that. He doesn't care about the stats and he cares about wins.
He's not a top 10 quarterback.
No. He didn't say he's a top 10.
That's not what he said.
Right. He never confirmed
that. And again, that's the same thing when I said that I didn't say that Odell Beckham isn't talent-wise a top 10 wide receiver. I said
he just hasn't shown in the last 3 years.
And in the 3 years, his numbers show that he's not.
I might have misheard you, Errol, when you were asking me the question. I might have misheard you when you asked me the question.
Not talent. I think he is.
On Errol Marks. No. You stand your ground and stand firm.
No. Listen. I'm being serious.
He doesn't backpedal. He speaks even when I tell him he's dumb, or he tells me, "Well, I'm not dumb." Blah 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 blah. And listen, he could call me dumb all he wants. If somebody calls me dumb, I'll take it. I'll eat it, and I'll try to.
You've never
yes,
been
I have.
dumb before.
Yeah, yes, I have. Yes, I have.
I was just being sarcastic.
Yes, I have. many times. many times. And I come back, if I'm called dumb, I come back with the way I would attack it. I say, okay, if I'm dumb, why is this? Why is that? I'm going to argue my points. I'm not going to sit there.
I need Mikey C.
Mikey C. Mikey C would get burnt. I burnt him many times on his stupidity.
Sam says, I don't consider losers to be quote unquote ranked above others, i.e. Deshaun Watson.
He's right about that too.
Deshaun Watson is a top 5 quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I think he's talking about his as a person.
I think all around talent, I think Deshaun Watson, to me, is the most talented quarterback in the league.
Very well be.
I mean, in my eyes, all around talent, I think Deshaun Watson could be the most talented quarterback in the league. But
him or Mahomes,
yeah. But unfortunately, he put himself in a bad situation.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's going to hurt it. It's going to affect his career. I don't think Deshaun Watson will ever be the same after this. I don't. And we've seen this happen to people and players before, and they've gotten out of it. Deshaun Watson's completely disappeared off the face of the earth. We have not heard anything
if
from
his legal
him.
team has a brain, that's what he should have done.
No, but I think
actually, I have a masseuse appointment to get to. Can we move this along?
Oh, do you? Oh, I got you. I got you. I'm sorry. Anyways, that's it for our show, guys. We'll be back.
You. I thought you would have picked that up sooner.
No, I'm very tired.
Josh,
by the way,
trying to
Tyler, very happy you came back, man.
I'm glad to be back. I thought I was exiled. I thought I was blackballed.
No, you're not. And I'm very happy to have you back. You added some great,
always
personality and craziness to this show, and it really appreciate you showing up. And I got some things to talk about with you after the show. Okay.
Oh, listen, man, it was one time, and we hid the body together.
I don't know about hiding anybody, but
damn.
And if I did, I wouldn't tell you. I'm afraid that you'd be telling everybody.
I would.
You know what Errol was doing?
You know what I helped Errol do last night? We put Mike Guido
buried somebody in the basement. Whatever happened to that guy? Anyways, by the way?
Course, that's who you bring.
What? No, it's just the only one that I could do.
What happened to Mike Guido? I mean, I heard he was doing a podcast.
Yeah, he does. I don't know. I haven't seen him. Haven't heard from him. I don't know.
I mean, I actually listened to his podcast. What was it? A couple of weeks ago. It was a lot of football, and still his takes with the Cowboys are just outrageously stupid. Okay.
Does he still think they have a top 10 roster?
Actually, he thinks that the Cowboys are going to be a very hard team to beat in the NFC East this year. So, interesting. I listen. I had nothing against Mike Guido either. I just think some of his takes were just.
But I figured it was funny to say his name.
It's right. He has a right to his own opinion towards his outrageous thoughts.
Does he though?
No,
I don't think.
I really like Guido. I never had any problems with him as a person. But he's an interesting guy, definitely, to say the least. And by the way, your show with him was hilarious. It was a great show. It really was.
I had a show with that day.
Yeah, that show was very fun to listen to. I honestly was one of my favorites.
Stuck says Mike Guido is a devoted follow of beavism.
Probably.
I think he's preaching to beavism now.
But I thought your show, you and Guido, when you guys actually did a show together, was very funny. Very you guys walking out of each other. It was very funny. Those shows were definitely fun to watch. It was a shame that Guido decided that he wanted to do his own show, and it really hurt Guido's show. It really did. I think Guido's show got worse when, honestly, he decided to go his way. And I told him, I had a conversation, by the way, before we go, I told him when we sat down and we talked about it before he decided to do this, I said, Mike, I think your show, I think there's some kind of connection that you have with Tyler. It really drove people to actually listen to your show. I think this is going to affect your show. And he told me that I just think that Tyler is outrageous. And that's what made your show fun and interesting. And
never proved me wrong once. So how outrageous could I be?
I just thought it was a very stupid move, and I still to this day, if you ask me, one of the funniest and one of the best shows that I thought was on the network, in the last couple of years, it was that show. I really enjoyed it, and I'm not trying to blow your head up.
My head's already
I loved watching you two go at it and yell at each other and close it. I saw you walk out of the show. I saw him walk out of the show. Then in one show, you both walked out of the show. It was yes.
Somebody else was there. Somebody else was there with me.
Renee.
Yes.
Renee, yeah. I think Renee was there with me.
And Renee was just sitting there with you, and it was Renee and Speedy. I was hilarious. I was just it was funny. It really was. And I thought what really made the show. It was a very good, funny, outrageous, crazy show.
Chris Paul's going to the NBA Finals.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to Chris Paul. He deserves it. This is his first NBA Finals, and hopefully he wins one. He's had a long career, one of the greatest point guards of all time. No question that he is. And he deserves it. And I hope he wins. I hope he wins. So, anyways, Tyler, we'll talk. Josh, great show. Speedy, wipe your ass. We'll talk tomorrow. To all the fans that listen to our show every single day, our network, we have some new followers today. I went to an event, and a lot of people were talking about sports. I slipped some in, and they downloaded the app. So they were very excited. To hear really some good top-end sports media and shows, which they say has been terrible throughout the country, all over the radio. So I'm hoping that we build more through the fans that way, and people talk and get people to listen. By the way, our show is, I believe, I was told, the best show on 103.9. So
nice.
So I was told that the other day. So there you go. Anyways. That's it. We will be back tomorrow. Good night, everybody.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.